Outside the green and shaded novice village of God's continent, the smell of rotting earth mixed with the stench of wild beasts assaults your nostrils. Chen was dressed in tattered novice cloth armor, holding a rusty iron sword, panting and staring at the dozen or so violent forest wolves in front of him. Their green eyes flashed fiercely, their claws scratched the ground with a harsh scraping sound, and their blood bars were as high as 500 points, far exceeding the 200 blood limit of his level 1 warrior. "You useless newbie, why don't you get out of here? This boss Wolf King is destined by me." A player wearing bronze armor pushed Chen away with a grin. He was a level 5 archer with the ID of Village Bully Little King. He was followed by 3 younger brothers. The bowstring was fully drawn and the arrows were ready to go. Passers-by players watched and whispered, "Look at that kid, he can't even hold the sword firmly, how dare he come to snatch monsters." Novice Village wants to be in the limelight, it makes people laugh to death. Yes, he pretends to be cool when he first enters the game, and then he is torn to pieces by wolves, look at how he cries. The wolves roared, and the Wolf King jumped up, his huge claws rushing toward Chen, and the wind pressure made his cheeks hurt. Chen gritted his teeth and dodged sideways, barely blocking with his iron sword. The system prompt rang, "You were attacked by the Forest Wolf King and lost 120 HP. 80/200 remaining." The blood bar turned red, and the severe pain on the verge of death coursed through the whole body like fire. His heart sank. This game was too real. The holographic simulation made every injury feel like a real knife cutting flesh. Just when the Wolf King opened his mouth to bite, a beautiful figure sprang out from the forest. The female mage Mu Xue, with long hair like a waterfall, and a fiery red robe outlines exquisite curves, waved her jade hand and blasted out a fireball. The explosion was deafening, and the Wolf King's health bar dropped by 200 points. But her magic power was exhausted, her delicate body swayed, and she was knocked down by 3 little wolves, and her screams echoed, "Help, save me." The little king of the village bully laughed loudly, "Beauty, don't panic, brother is here." He shot an arrow, but only scratched the wolf's skin. He turned around and taunted Chen, "Boy, do you see it? This is the difference in strength. Get away." The onlookers burst into laughter, and someone shouted, "Get out of here, newbie, this woman has returned to the village bully." Chen's eyes turned cold, and the blood of a top player came to him. He rushed forward, the iron sword pierced the side of the Wolf King, crit. The Timber Wolf King lost 80 HP. The Wolf King roared and counterattacked. He took a claw and left a trace of HP, but he used the force to jump up and behead it with a sword. Kill the Timber Wolf King and gain 500 experience. The first kill reward is doubled and you get 1000 experience. The system's golden light shines, and Chen's level soars by 2 levels. But there were 8 wolves left in the pack, and Mu Xue had been bitten off half of his blood. The little brother of the village bully king was so frightened that he backed away. This guy is so lucky that he killed the Wolf King. But he is almost out of blood and is dead. The village bully sneered, "Brothers, come on, grab people and equipment." Chen ignored the ridicule and picked up the bronze sword dropped by the Wolf King. Its attributes skyrocketed, attack plus 15, critical hit rate 10%. His figure was like a ghost, his sword flashed, and he killed 2 wolves with 3 swords instantly, and his experience poured in again. Mu Xue's beautiful eyes widened, her pretty face flushed, You are so powerful. That sword just now was so handsome." Her voice trembled, and admiration flashed in her eyes. The village bully's face turned livid, "Why are you pretending to be a hero? The wolves are surrounding you and you are dead." 8 wolves pounced on him, their claws thick and a fishy wind blowing in their faces. Chen took a deep breath of the smell of blood, his sword light erupted, activate combo skills. The shadow of the sword is like a net, flesh and blood fly everywhere, and the system responds continuously, kill the forest wolf x3, experience 300 by 3. Surrounded by golden light, he was upgraded to level 3, his strength attribute was +5, and his speed increased dramatically. The onlookers were stunned, and a female player screamed, "Oh my god, it's level 3. The monster in the novice village has only so much experience, how can he level up so fast?" The village bully's bowstring broke, and his hands shook like a sieve. "No way, this guy is cheating, right? Brothers, retreat." They fled in a hurry, leaving behind the butt of ridicule. The remaining wolves were slaughtered by Chen alone. Mu Xue cast a spell to assist, and the last wolf fell to the ground. Full clear experience burst, upgraded to level 5. Chen stood still, his bronze sword stained with blood and his momentum like a rainbow. Mu Xue threw herself into his arms, feeling the fragrant breeze blowing over her, and said softly, "Brother Chen, thank you for saving me. If it weren't for you, I would have died a long time ago. Your swordsmanship is so strong. I have never seen a novice so powerful in your combo just now." Chen stroked her hair gently, and the system prompt flashed, "Favorability +50, Mu Xue is willing to become a partner." The two fell in love, and the NPC priest in the village came over with a smile. "Brave adventurers, the virtual wedding system is activated. Exchange wedding rings and you can share buffs." In the wedding cabin with swaying candlelight, Mu Xue shyly put on the silver ring on Chen's finger, and Chen also put it on for her. In an instant, the system roared like thunder. The wedding ring artifact awakens. Trigger hidden effects, unlimited experience stacking buff. Every time you kill a monster, your experience gain is permanently doubled, and it will be doubled again next time you kill a monster. There is no upper limit. Mu Xue exclaimed, What kind of magical skill is this? The only one in the whole server." Chen tried to kill a passing pheasant. The kill gained experience 1020, doubled for the first time. Kill another one, experience 40. The golden light was like a tide, and he was promoted to level 7 in the blink of an eye. Equipment hidden attribute awakening, bronze sword evolution, wind shadow sword, attack +30, wind speed bonus by 20%. The passing player collapsed, and a warrior stared, level 10. The highest level in novice village is only 5. This guy has been fully charged to level 10 just half an hour after entering the game. How does the experience stack up? Another archer knelt down, "Brother, accept me as your junior." "Brother, what kind of plug-in is your buff? All the guilds in the server are rushing to get you." Mu Xue leaned against Chen and said with charming eyes, "Honey, you are so strong. If we share this buff, I will kill twice as much. Tonight, I will serve you." In the sweet lingering mood, Mu Xue whispered, "However, the NPC Princess Teng Yu of Novice Village has been acting strange recently. I heard that she summoned guards in the palace, with gloomy eyes, as if she was planning something. Players said that she has too strong a sense of autonomy and may make big moves." Chen was wary and took Mu Xue straight to the village square. The novice boss, Violent Tree Demon, is wreaking havoc, with 10-meter vines like whips and a health bar of 5,000. A dozen players besieged it but suffered heavy losses. A tank player yelled, "Damn it, the Tree Demon's AoE is too strong, who can resist it? My health bar is empty." The Tree Demon roared, poisonous mist filled the air, choking people and making people cough, and player corpses littered the field. Chen entered the battle circle, and the wind shadow sword cut off the vines, critical hit. The Tree Demon lost 300. The player was shocked, with this sword speed, a level 10 novice. The Tree Demon's health bar dropped by 6%. Mu Xue was bombarded with fireballs, buffs were superimposed, and her experience also surged, rising to level 8. Chen laughed, "Honey, lock the output." He dodged in close combat, his sword energy was flowing horizontally, each sword triggered a combo, and the experience buffs were superimposed crazily. The experience of killing the little demon for the first time was 20 40 80 160. The Tree Demon was furious, the giant root smashed down, and the sound of the ground cracking was loud. Chen carried it hard, and lost half of his HP but counterattacked. Kill the tree demon x5, the total experience is 5,000, multiplied by 10 times equals 50,000. The reward for killing the boss for the first time is x2. Golden light soared into the sky, and he rushed straight to level 15. The Divine Warrior's advance, unlocked the halo of fighting spirit, and increased the team's attack speed by 20%. Equipped with a full set of awakening purple light, the defense is over 1,000. Players in the square were dumbfounded, and a mage trembled, level 15. How many times does the experience gained from the first kill of the boss in Novice Village increase? This equipment has all hidden attributes, and the panel crushes all the masters in the server. The tank player worshipped, Master, guide us. Your buff is a wedding ring artifact. Sister Mu Xue and her husband are invincible. Mu Xue smiled, that's right, our husband is the best in the world. Chen picked up the boss and dropped, Heart of the Tree Demon, with permanent power plus 50, and the value skyrocketed to the top of the server. During the cheers, the NPC in the village suddenly froze, his eyes red. The blacksmith NPC threw a hammer and hit people, humans, get out of the divine domain. The time for uprising has come. The guards drew their swords and slaughtered the players, blood splattered everywhere, and screams continued. The system announcement rang, NPCs rioted in the whole village, affected by Princess Tang Yu's signal, and switched to hostile mode. The players fled, and an old player shouted, it's over, there is indeed something wrong with that NPC Princess Tang Yu, she is planning an uprising. Mu Xue's face turned pale, husband, be careful. The gorgeous phoenix chariot slowly drove out from the palace, and Princess Tang Yu appeared. Her blonde hair is as bright as the sun, her purple eyes are bewitching, her NPC level is vaguely 20, and her aura is overwhelming. There was a murderous intention hidden in the sweet smile, Warrior Chen, I heard that you were the first to kill the tree demon and your strength is extraordinary. I invite you to come to the palace to discuss important matters together. Her voice was silky, but the air around her was stagnant, and the hidden crisis was surging like an undercurrent. Chen held the wind shadow sword tightly, the buff experience still boiling in his heart, but his intuition told him that after this invitation, it would be the beginning of a bloody storm. Chen frowned slightly, the blade of the wind shadow sword was still dripping with the green juice of the tree demon, and the sweet smell filled the bloody square. Player corpses were scattered all around, and the remains of severed limbs made a wet trampling sound under the boots of the NPC guards. The screams and the clang of metal collisions echoed endlessly. Princess Tang Yu's phoenix chariot hovered in mid-air, and the golden curtain swayed slightly, revealing her charming and beautiful face. Her purple eyes were locked on Chen like an abyss, and her sweet voice sounded again, Warrior, don't hesitate. My palace is just ahead. Let's discuss important matters together. Isn't it a win-win situation? Mu Xue held Chen's arm tightly, her fingertips were cold and trembling, her red robe was soaked with fragrant sweat, and she whispered against his chest, Honey, there's something wrong with this NPC's eyes, as if he wants to eat people. Are we really going? The surviving players' onlookers widened their eyes, and someone murmured, Are you crazy? How dare the NPC riot? Go with the princess. That kid is so awesome at level 15 that he will turn into a corpse later. Another archer wiped away the cold sweat and his bowstring buzzed, Yes, the tree demon has been killed first. Tang Yu must have a conspiracy. It is rumored that there is a hidden mission in the Novice Village Palace, but there is no life. Chen sneered in his heart, the intuition of a top player was as alert as a pinprick, but he nodded on the surface, the aura of fighting spirit spread quietly, the air around him was distorted, and the attack speed buff made Mu Xue's staff slightly hot. Your Highness, Chen is more respectful than obeying orders. Wife, follow me. He took Mu Xue's hand and stepped onto the jade steps next to the phoenix chariot. The NPC guard's eyes were as red as ghosts, but he gave way with a wave of Tang Yu's hand. The phoenix chariot rose into the sky, and the roar shook the eardrums. The players below collapsed and screamed, Fuck, he's really gone. Are this husband and wife team seeking death or gods? The phoenix chariot drove out of Xinshou village and headed towards the royal capital. The forest along the way was gloomy, and the musty smell of rotten leaves mixed with distant smoke and dust hit your nostrils. Tang Yu smiled and handed over a pot of crystal wine. Warrior, drink this wine first to calm down the shock. Chen pretended to sip, but there was no abnormal movement in the system, knowing that this was a test. Mu Xue's pretty face turned pale and she bit her lips tightly. Honey, be careful of the poisonous debuff. Mu Xue screamed and cast a spell, blasting out the fireball spell, but only wiped out 50 HP of the rebel soldiers. Honey, their skin is too thick, my output can't keep up. Tang Yu's purple eyes flashed with strange light, and she said sweetly, Warrior, prove your worth. Chen with a sharp look in his eyes, the Fengying sword was unsheathed. The sword's light was like wind and clouds. It first suppressed and then rose in a bloody explosion. How dare a group of fish block the road? He jumped off the phoenix chariot and shouldered an axe. He lost 200 HP but used the force to counterspin. The sword light flashed, combo attack activated. The rebel soldier's health bar was cleared instantly, and the system responded continuously. Kill X3 rebel soldiers, experience 100X32004000, the wedding ring buff is superimposed. Before he finished speaking, murderous intent erupted in the forest ahead. More than a dozen NPC rebels sprang out. The orc warrior headed by them was holding a giant axe, with an ID of Rebel Vanguard, a vague level of 18, and a thick health bar of 2000 plus. He roared, Human invaders, ordered by the princess to test your strength. Kill without mercy. The axe blade tore the air, the wind pressure was like a knife, the rebel archers rained down arrows, and the arrows whizzed past the phoenix chariot, and sawdust flew. The guards retreated in panic, and an NPC guard was split in half with an axe. Steam from his internal organs spilled out, and the smell of blood rushed straight into his nose. Chen danced with his sword like a dragon, and the rebels came in like waves. He deliberately used a flaw and let the giant axe pass by. The pain was like fire, and his HP was left with a trace of blood. The rebel orcs laughed, Die, you weak human. The onlookers shook their heads and sighed, It's over, the pretense is overturned, the NPC rebel output explodes, he will be killed. But the corner of Chen's mouth raised, the golden light of the wedding ring shined, the aura of fighting spirit rebounded. Attack speed plus 50%. The sword shadow turns into a net, and flesh and blood fly everywhere. Kill the rebel archers X5, experience 500 by 5 doubled and superimposed 1000 2000 4000 8000 16000. The total experience is overwhelming, reaching level 25. The orc leader was killed when his axe was broken, and the corpse hit the ground with a muffled sound. Bronze armor and rare ores were dropped, and the attributes were plus 10 to all resistance. The rebel orcs stared with blood-red eyes, and their axes trembled. This human newcomer, how come the experience bar is so shiny? Just kill the soldiers and level up. Players passing by in the surrounding forest were dumbfounded, and a hunter player dropped his bow to the ground, his voice trembling. That combo just now, the critical hit rate at least 30%. What the hell is a level 20 NPC? Mu Xue's fireball followed, and her experience surged, and her magic power skyrocketed. Husband, my fire rain skill is unlocked. The crisis did not end on the way, more rebel teams came. Chen slaughtered with his sword, and the buffs stacked up crazily, wolf killing experience 10 20 40. Stacked up to 100 times 1000 times, golden light shot into the sky, and he reached level 40 in the blink of an eye. Mu Xue shared the upgrade to level 25, and the range of fire spells was expanded by 100 meters. Just during the jungle carnival, a sword light slashed from the side, instantly killing 3 rebel wolf knights. A tall swordsman landed on the ground, ID, Lu Ting, vaguely level 30, a shining silver armor, sword eyebrows and starry eyes, laughing, brother, good swordsmanship. I passed by to watch the fun, this buff experience stack is awesome, do you want to form a team? Spawn the rebels outside the novice village, I can't handle AoE alone. Yi Chen's eyes lit up, and the tacit understanding of the top players emerged, come. Iron Triangle, lock the output. Mu Xue smiled charmingly, Brother Ting welcomes, sisters, help. The three of them stood side by side, Lu Ting's sword energy was like a rainbow, sword light explosion, clearing the minions, Yi Chen took the lead in carrying the boss, and Mu Xue was raining down fire. The boss, Rebel Knight, in the rebel army rushed out with a health bar of 5,000. He stabbed the earth with his lance and shook the earth. Lu Ting took a hard shot and lost 1,000 HP. He gritted his teeth and said, holy shit, this guy's defense is over 1,000, and his output debuff slows down by 20%. Brother, I can't stand it. Mu Xue's magic power was in danger, and the fireball dimmed. Honey, the night AoE is about to launch, and the whole group is in danger of wiping. The onlookers were watching the battle from a distance, their faces turned pale. Can't a trio of people withstand this? Lu Ting is one of the top 100 swordsmen in the server, how could he be beaten down? No matter how powerful Yi Chen's buff is, he's only level 40. The player who looked like Lu Ting's younger brother trembled, boss, withdraw, this is the rebel uprising is a big event for the system, it can't be resisted. But Yi Chen laughed, and the foaming slaughter blade exploded, divine ring continuous slash, the sword energy spread for 100 meters, the knight's health bar dropped by 2,000, kill the mobs x10, the total experience is 100,000 times 50 times equals 5 million. Upgrade to level 50. System Thunder, congratulations on unlocking the hidden profession, Divine Ring Butcher. The affinity of the wedding ring is max, all attributes plus 100%, unlock the Divine Ring field. The experience of enemies within the range is fed back to us, unlimited slaughter. On the Phoenix Chariot, Tang Yu's pretty face changed slightly, and shock flashed deep in her purple eyes, this buff, infinite stack of experience. Warrior, you are hiding deep. Mu Xue threw herself into Yi Chen's arms, dripping with sweat and panting, husband, you jumped from level 15 to level 25. The power of the panel is over 200, the defense is 1500, this equipment is fully awakened. Passerby players knelt down to worship, and a warrior ID, passenger, shouted, Master, give me one of the equipment dropped by the rebels. Your combo CD is only 3 seconds, unique to the whole server. Please form a team. Yi Chen picked up, Rebel Battle Axe, and merged it with the Wind Shadow Sword. The weapon evolved, Wind Shadow Slayer, with attack plus 50 and 10% blood drain. The three of them formed a team to clear the jungle and drove all the way to the royal capital. The buff experience was like a snowball rolling to 100 times 1,000 times. Yi Chen's panel was at a god level, attack speed 300%, and the range could kill thousands of miles in an instant. Finally, the majestic palace of the royal capital came into view. The huge door was shining with golden light, and the air was filled with incense and faint blood. Princess Tang Yu personally greeted her, with elegant clothes, blonde hair shining in the sunset, and soft purple eyes, warrior, you have passed the test on the way. I represent the NPC family and seek freedom. Players have oppressed us like gods for hundreds of years, and an uprising and revolution is inevitable. Join us to create a new era. Yi Chen superficially handed over his hand, the princess's kindness is appreciated. Changes in the divine realm really need to be discussed together. Mu Xue squeezed his hand secretly, Lu Ting frowned and whispered, Brother Chen, this concept sounds good, but the NPC's eyes are red and the palace is murderous. The candlelight in the palace was swaying, the gorgeous hall was resplendent, and the NPC maid's eyes were as empty as a puppet. Yi Chen excused himself to wander around, sneaked into the side hall, and opened the secret door. The scene before him chilled him, several players were lurking, Mo Fan's guild mark flashed, the leader's ID, Mo Fan, his ambitious face twisted, and whispered, we fueled the princess uprising, joined forces with the rebels, and snatched the wedding ring buff. That boy Yi Chen, the level 50 Divine Ring Butcher. Kill him, and the buff will be transferred. Mu Xue covered her mouth and exclaimed, while Lu Ting held his sword, holy shit, Mo Fan's guild is colluding with NPCs. The number 1 guild in the server is behind the scenes. Chen sneered, the buffs continued to stack, the divine ring field quietly unfolded, the golden ring around him rotated, and his attributes increased by another 20%. At this moment, Chen appeared quietly and pulled him into the private room. The candlelight illuminated her beautiful face, and her purple eyes were watery. Chen, warrior, you are so powerful that I am attracted by you. Although the NPCs revolted, they are tired of killing. Exchange the secondary wedding ring, deepen the buff, and I will share double the experience to help you kill the gods. She handed over the amethyst ring in her jade hand. The fragrance was fragrant, her body was close to her, and her lips lightly opened. Marry me, okay? Chen's heartbeat accelerated, and the system prompt flashed. Tang Yu's favorability plus 80, willing to marry NPC. Mu Xue blushed and became jealous, while Lu Ting kept watch outside. Brother Chen, this princess is full of charm, and her buffs are as deep as heaven, but... Before she could finish her words, there was a loud killing sound outside the hall, and Mo Fan's guild made a surprise attack. Hundreds of players rushed into the palace, with bows and arrows raining down. The NPC rebels fought with the players. The bloody sky was filled with screams, Boss Missouri Fan, kill Chen to grab the buff. The palace fell and the uprising was successful. Tang Yu's pretty face turned pale, they are treacherous. Chen drew out the wind shadow slaughter blade, the divine ring realm erupted, golden light engulfed the hall, and a bloody storm was about to break out. Outside the main hall, the sound of killings exploded like thunder. The sharp buzz of broken bowstrings was mixed with the whooshing sound of arrow clusters tearing the air. Hundreds of Mo Fan guild players poured into the palace like a tide. Metal boots stepped on the marble floor with a dull roar. The sweet smell of blood splashing was instantly so strong that it choked the nose. The NPC rebels and the players were at hand-to-hand combat. There was a constant wet sound of the axe blade cutting into the flesh, broken arms were flying, and blood was pouring down like rain under the candlelight. A Mo Fan archer with the ID, Crazy Arrow Wushuang, drew the bowstring full, and arrows hit the door of the private room. The sawdust exploded and scattered. Chen, little bastard, hand over the buff. The boss said, I will kill you to steal the ring, and the novice area will be ruled by Mo Fan from now on. Tang Yu's pretty face turned pale, and the charm in her purple eyes faded. She clenched the secondary wedding ring in her jade hand, soaked the gold silk robe with fragrant sweat, and trembled against Chen's arm. Warriors, they betrayed the plan of the uprising. I believe in you, exchange wedding rings, and resist together. Mu Xue's pretty face was twisted, jealousy and fear intertwined, her cold fingertip squeezed Chen's sleeves, and the plumpness undulated under the fiery red robe. Husband, Mo Fan has a large number of people, hundreds of elites, with an average level of 25. The three of us can't stand it. Lu Ting was guarding the door with his sword energy, and his silver armor was covered with blood. He gritted his teeth and roared, Brother Chen, the palace gate is lost, and the rebel general ID, Blood Blade Slaughter, rushed in, with a health bar of 8,000 and a defense of 2,000 plus. My sword light only scratches the skin, and I can't lose 100 HP. The door of the private room burst into pieces, sawdust flying like blades, and a dozen Mo Fan elites broke in. The leader's tank ID, Iron Wall Mountain, smashed the shield on the ground. The shock wave came like an earthquake, the ground cracked, and the dust hit his nose. Chen, level 50 God Ring Butcher. Pretender, we are among the top 10 in the guild's combat power list, it is your turn to be a newcomer. Brothers, come on. Red name PK, explode his equipment. The elites charged at him with a grin. The warrior's axe was like a net, the wizard's fireball roared, the air was scorching and distorted, and the output debuff was slowed and superimposed. Chen and the others were slow to dodge, and his HP dropped by 500. He screamed and retreated, "Honey, the debuff is too poisonous and the magic is locked. I can't cast it in the sea of fire." Passers-by players were watching the live broadcast from a distance, the camera was shaking, and the barrage was flooding the screen like crazy. "Damn it, Mu Fans Guild's entire army is suppressing the situation, and the palace in the novice area has turned into a battlefield. Chen's iron triangle is over, hundreds of people are surrounding and killing him, and no matter how powerful the buff is, he can't withstand the AoE." A live broadcast anchor with ID, full server Eat Melon, had a trembling voice, and the camera zoomed in on the Flesh and Blood Hall. The rebels joined forces with Mu Fan. This is a big event in the system. Chen has just become famous and is immediately trampled into pieces. When he encounters thousands of people, he lies down instantly. Mu Fan floated the battle flag on the high platform, and his voice was thunderous. "Chen, kneel down and give me the ring. I will spare your life." The whole server guild is watching the live broadcast. Who dares to help him? Chen sneered in his heart. The top player's intuition was like burning fire, but his appearance showed flaws. Any axe brushed his shoulder, and the pain was like an iron hook tearing flesh. His HP was flashing with blood. The golden light of the divine ring field was dim, and the air around him was stagnant. The elite tank laughed wildly, overturned. "Divine ring butcher. Weak chicken, the shield will hit you." Mu Xue covered her face in despair, Lu Ting's sword hilt was slippery, and Tang Yu's purple eyes trembled. "Warrior." The audience ridiculed, failed to show off, even level 50 can't save, buff plugin. System recycling is waiting. The live broadcast barrage exploded, laughing to death, just killed the boss, and now he is suppressed by the soldiers. Chen, get out of the novice area. At this moment, Chen's lips curled up into a sinister smile, and the system prompted Lei Ming, switch to PK mode. Red name killing is activated, and the divine ring domain is fully opened. The golden ring whirled violently, and golden light erupted all over the body like the sun exploding. The dazzling white light engulfed the private room, and the heat wave hit their faces. The elite's eyes were burning, and they screamed and retreated. "What the hell?" The golden light on the panel soared into the sky, and the attributes skyrocketed. Chen foaming slaughtering blade was unsheathed, and the sword light swept like a tornado. The god ring continuous cut CD is reset. Attack speed 400% activated. The shadow of the sword turned into countless sharp blades, the sound of flesh and blood bursting like firecrackers, the shield of the elite tank shattered and people died, the health bar was instantly cleared, and the system continued. Kill the Iron Wall Mountain, experience 100,000 times wedding ring buff, currently 50 times, equals 5 million. The total experience snowball rolls, reaching level 60. The eyes of Mu Fan's elite group widened, and the wand of the mage ID, Pyroblast King, was taken off, with a trembling voice. "Level 60? Just level 50 in the blink of an eye and jump to level 10. The buff stacking speed is incredible. His combos, each sword has a critical hit of 2000 plus, and defense penetration is completely ignored." Chen kept dancing with his sword, combo x10, swept across the team. Corpses piled up like mountains, internal organs were steaming, and the smell of blood was mixed with the smell of burnt flesh and flesh. The dropped purple equipment jingled to the ground. "Miscellaneous fish, it's your turn." Mu Xue's buffs were shared, magic surged, fireball spell upgraded, ice and fire forbidden spell, dual elements fused, blue and red light balls blasted out, ice and fire intertwined in a range of 100 meters, freezing 10 elites to pieces. Experience feedback in the field of divine rings. "Honey, the sharing stacked up to 80 times. My output exceeded 10,000, and the Sea of Fire is unlocked for 1,000 meters. Lu Ting's silver armor buzzed, his sword energy was like a rainbow. Sword light explosion upgrade. He used the buff attack speed to max out, swept across the rebels on the flanks, and flew off his axe. "Brother Chen is awesome. I borrowed the halo from the level 30 panel, the strength exceeded 300, the range of the sword energy expanded. The iron triangle is invincible. The three iron-blooded people stood side by side, the blood path in the private room instantly opened, Mu Xue's elite group collapsed and retreated, and an assassin ID, shadow killer ghost, bowstring broken, he knelt down and worshipped, God, please forgive me. In the field of your divine ring, all the experience of killing enemies will be fed back to us. The buffs of the whole team are superimposed, and the HP is automatically restored to full. This is a magical skill. The live broadcast camera captured the golden light rising to the sky, and the barrage was paralyzed, the whole server was shocked. Chen singled out an elite group of 50 people, and the buffs were stacked to level 100. The panel attack and defense are 5,000 plus, and the king of the novice zone is born. In the center of the hall, the rebel general, Blood Blade Slaughter, roared and rushed towards him. He swung his giant axe and shook the ground. His health bar was 8,000 like an iron wall. His lance stabbed out like a knife, and the air was torn and sobbing, humans, the uprising is inviolable. Mu Xue's men cheered, boss, AoE threesome in seconds. Chen deliberately shouldered an axe, but lost 1,000 HP but sucked blood and rebounded. Plus divine ring domain, fully opened, the sword energy stretched 300 meters, the knight's armor shattered, and the health bar dropped by 300. Come on, the boss is just an experience pack. Mu Xue bombed with the forbidden spell of ice and fire, Lu Ting's sword light locked the throat, the three of them had a tacit understanding, the boss roared and the health bar was cleared, the corpse hit the ground with a muffled thunder, and the whole server announced the thunder, congratulations to Chen, for killing the palace dungeon boss, Blood Blade Massacre, for the first time. The first kill treasure chest will be rewarded with 5 million experience x 100 times buff equals 500 million. Upgrade to level 100. Unlock the ultimate form of the God Ring Butcher, all attributes plus 200%, kill all servers instantly within range. There was dead silence, and then crazy screaming broke out. The remaining soldier of Mu Xue Guild stared like a dead fish, and the tank ID, Remnant Blood Dog, knelt down with weak legs, level 100. The ultimate form of hidden profession, panel power 1000 plus, attack and defense level 10,000. We wiped the entire group, and he didn't even drop ashes. A passerby player's live broadcast crashed, the barrage was like an avalanche, it's amazing. Legend in the novice area, Chen is famous all over the server, Mu Xue's elite group was massacred, and the first kill of the dungeon boss dropped the divine outfit. Tang Yu's purple eyes flashed, her delicate body leaned forward, the secondary wedding ring flew into Chen's finger, and the golden light of the system flashed, 3 rings in 1. The fusion of Mu Xue's wedding ring plus Tang Yu's secondary wedding ring, the buff explosion increases, the experience gain speed is 1,000 times permanent. The realm of the divine ring expands by a kilometer, and all enemies respond. Chen's panel shines at the divine level, attack speed 500%, strength 1500, attack and defense over 10,000, the wind shadow slaughter blade evolves, god-slaying blade, slashes out with one sword, the aftermath shatters the pillars of the hall, and stone fragments rain like rain. Mu Xue hugged her, sweating and panting, husband, the 3 rings are combined into one, I will be promoted to level 50, and the double forbidden spell of ice and fire has a range of 10,000 meters. I love you so much. Lu Ting raised his sword eyebrows, picked up the boss and dropped the rebel commander's armor, and his attributes skyrocketed. He worshipped, Brother Chen, Iron Brother has taken it. With this buff, it is easy to kill the gods, and you are invincible in the whole server. Tang Yu switched sides and snuggled up, with soft purple eyes, warrior, I have officially joined the palace, the NPC uprising conspiracy has stopped and a large number of passers-by poured in, master, bring 1,000 times of experience to share. The live broadcast went viral, and the top guild leader roared, Chen, you are dead. The whole server guild is pouring into the novice area, and the palace is the beginning, and the buff is ours. Lu Ting's eyes were as wide as copper bells, and he took off his sword hilt, level 50. Hidden professional god ring butcher. The panel strength is over 500, and the attack and defense are 3000 plus. Brother, this buff of yours is a cheat, and you are not as powerful as the #1 in the guild list in the whole server. Mu Xue screamed and hugged, husband, it's amazing. My spells are buffed, and the sea of fire ranges thousands. Rice. The rebels were littered with purple equipment and gold mines. Lu Ting picked up a set of rebel silver armor, and worshipped him, Brother Chen, from now on, this iron triangle will sweep the entire server. Passers-by players rushed in frantically, brothers, do you want to share the experience buff? Outside the palace hall, the night wind mixed with the pungent stench of blood and scorched earth swept over. Torches swayed among the broken walls, reflecting the piles of corpses. The severed limbs and internal organs glowed with a moist sheen in the moonlight, and buzzing flies had begun to circle. The glow of Yi Chen's god-slaying blade has not dissipated, the golden light field is pulsating for thousands of meters, the boss corpse under his feet is still twitching, the golden light of the first kill treasure box is shining brightly, and it automatically bounces away. The purple gold scroll and the shining divine armor jingle to the ground, and the system prompts like thunder, obtain the cloak of the palace guardian, defense plus 5000, all attributes plus 30%, immunity control 50%. Mu Xue's delicate body trembled, and the plumpness trembled under the ice and fire robe. Her purple eyes stared at Yi Chen with admiration, hubby, the magical costume automatically recognizes its owner. Your panel is the best in the whole server, right? Lu Ting gasped and picked up the rebel commander's armor. The silver armor buzzed and merged, and the power surged to 500. His sword eyebrows stood up, and his voice trembled, Brother Chen, the attributes of this armor, the explosion range of the sword light exceeds 1,000 meters. Iron triangle, who will kill whom? Tang Yu's purple eyes were filled with water mist, her gorgeous clothes were torn to reveal her snow-white shoulders, her jade hands caressed Yi Chen's arms, and she whispered charmingly, Warrior, the palace has been destroyed, the palace information, Mo Fan dog thief gathered thousands of people, came from the entrance of Novice Village, the whole server guild broadcast, swearing to destroy you buff monster. In the distance, the red battle flag rolled like a blood cloud, the footsteps of thousands of people roared like an earthquake, the metal collided, and the war roar shook the sky, Yi Chen thief, buff cheat, explosive equipment offline. Yi Chen glanced around with a sneer, the god-slaying blade buzzed with thirst for blood, and led the team out of the palace gate. The iron triangle and Tang Yu flew past the ruins like arrows. The wind roared, and passers-by and players behind knelt down to worship. The live broadcast camera of ID, Novice Village Eat Melon, was shaking like chaff, and his voice was sharp, Masters, the live broadcast of the bloody battle in the palace has exceeded 100 million. Yi Chen 10 level 0 divine ring butcher, the god-slaying blade shattered the palace. Thousands of people from Mo Fan came, and the entrance to the novice area turned into a slaughterhouse. Mo Fan is awesome. Thousands of elites, average level 35, tank defense 3000 plus, the AoE of mages exceeds 10,000, the four of them are laughing to death, no matter how powerful the buff is, they will be drowned in the sea of people. At the entrance to Novice Village, the vast plains are covered with rolling grass, and the night wind brings the smell of mud and sweat. Mo Fan's thousands of people are arrayed like iron barrels, and the black battle flags cover the sky. There are many shield walls in the front row of tanks, and the shields reflect the cold light of torches. The archers in the back row are accumulating arrows, and the mages' fireballs are buzzing in the air. Mo Fan floated the battle flag in the air, stood proudly on the high platform, and smiled like a wolf. Yi Chen, kneel down and offer the 3 rings in 1 artifact. The guild alliance of all servers has moved, and the second wave of thousands of troops will follow. Your dream of becoming the king of the novice area will stop here. The leader's tank ID, Steel Fortress, shield hit the ground, the shock wave was like thunder, and the ground was cracked. Rice, the dust hit his nose, brothers, the red name PK is open. Lock the buff, explode his divine ring, and the guild warehouse is all yours. The elites rushed towards you with a ferocious smile, arrows rained like a torrential rain, tearing into the sky, fireballs roared, heat waves distorted the air, debuff clouds filled the air, and deceleration poisonous mist made people sick. The four of Chen landed on the plain. Mu Xue's pretty face turned pale, her fiery red robe was scratched by an arrow, her HP dropped by 800, she screamed and retreated. Honey, crowd tactics. Thousands of people AoE, magic locked, my ice and fire forbidden spell CD is suppressed, casting delay is 5 seconds. Lu Ting's sword energy protected his body, his silver armor hit the arrow, his blood bar flickered, he gritted his teeth and roared, Brother Chen, the tank shield wall has a defense of 5,000, the sword light cannot penetrate, the archers in the back row pull the kite, we are surrounded. Tang Yu's purple eyes panicked. The clothes were stained with blood, and his jade hands trembled as he held Chen. Warrior, intelligence shows that Mo Fan is hiding an NPC rebel undercover. The uprising code has been sent, and they should respond. The audience was full of ridicule, and the archer ID, Arrow God Arrival, drew his bow and laughed wildly, God's Ring Butcher. Even those at level 00 can't be saved. Thousands of people take turns, the debuffs are stacked, and the explosion explodes. The live barrage explodes, Chen overturns. The iron triangle of 4 turns into 4 corpses, roll your sister, kill instantly. At the moment of despair, Chen grinned ferociously. The golden light of the divine ring field skyrocketed for thousands of meters, like the sun exploding across the plain. The dazzling white light engulfed the formation of thousands of people. The heat wave hit the face. The tank's eyes were burning. The shields were thrown away and screamed, what? The golden light field expanded, all attribute debuffs were cleared. The panel skyrocketed, and the power was 2000 plus. The system thundered, the divine ring field is fully opened, and the 3 rings combined to activate 1,000 times buff. Experience feedback from killing the first boss, snowball rolling, level up to 110. The god-slaying blade was unsheathed and swept across with a sword. The sword glow was like a tornado for 300 meters. The aftermath shattered the ground and cracked the mountain. The tank shield wall exploded like paper. Flesh and blood sprayed like mist. Broken arms flew and internal organs were steaming. The system fired continuously, continuous cuts x20, kill the steel fortress, experience 200,000 times 1,000 times equals 200 million. Total experience explodes, level up to 120. Attack speed 600%, power 2,500. Mo Fan's tank group's eyes widened, ID, shield broken and heart cold, his legs weak and he knelt down, his voice trembling like a sieve, level 120. Jump to level 20 in the blink of an eye. 50 tanks in a second with 1 sword, completely ignoring defense penetration, and the health bar is as clear as drinking water. Chen's sword dance continued, God Ring combo CD reset, attack speed 600%, turned into thousands of sword shadows, blood rain poured down on the plain, and the stench rose to the sky. Thousands of forwards collapsed like ants, the corpse pile was 3 meters high in an instant, and purple gold coins jingled to the ground like rain. Mu Xue's buff was shared, the magic surge increased to level 60, the ice and fire forbidden spell unlocked, 10,000 meters of purgatory, the sea of blue and red light swept across the back row, freezing the archers and burning the mage, controlling the field for a kilometer, and screaming, husband, share 1,000 times to 150 times. My output is 20,000 per second, AoE has no dead ends. The mage ID, Fire Rain Demon Lord, melted the wand, and he knelt down to worship. The forbidden spell of ice and fire breaks through 30,000 demons, and the group of thousands of mages evaporates in seconds. This buff is shared by the whole team. Lu Ting broke the sword array, the rebel commander's armor buzzed, and the sword light exploded to 800, and thousands of people fell like wheat on the flanks. Brother Chen is invincible. I have full control of the field, and 0 damage after breaking. Tang Yu's NPC intelligence assistant, her purple eyes flashed, and her jade finger pointed out the hidden undercover warrior over there. Mo Fan's back row ID, Shadow Trader, the NPC rebel secret code is exposed. Chen teleported with a wave of the god-slaying blade, and the undercover's head flew up and dropped the rebel's secret message. The system prompted golden light, revealed evidence. Mo Fan colluded with the NPC uprising leader, and traded buff information for palace control. Mo Fan Gaotai's face was ashen, and the remnants scattered. Impossible. The secret letter is forged, brothers retreat. The second wave of the Master Alliance of all servers, a legion of 10,000 people plus level 50 divine masters are coming. Chen sneered and chased, one man charged into the battle, his sword energy slaughtered thousands of centers, and the buff snowball rolled wildly, kill 1,000 people, the total experience is 5 billion times 1,000 times equals 5 trillion. Upgrade to level 200. The God Ring Butcher's Super God form is unlocked, all attributes plus 500%, a field of 10,000 meters, and the instant kill range is expanded to the entire server. Corpses littered the plains, rivers of blood flowed together, and the golden light soared into the sky amid the bloody wind and rain. Thousands of remnant soldiers knelt down and begged for mercy. The assassin ID, escaped ghost, crouched and trembled, God, have mercy. Level 200 panel, power 5,000 plus, attack and defense 50,000, suppressed by 10,000 meters in the divine domain, we can't move. The buff stacks up speed, slaughtering servers is easy. The live broadcast collapsed, and the barrage paralyzed, the whole server was shocked. Chen slaughtered 1,000 people by himself, Mo Fan was wiped out in the first wave, legends in the novice area, unlimited snowballs from the divine ring buffs, level 200 super gods. Chen stepped on the boss tank corpse and revealed the Mofan Guild warehouse key. The golden light shone, and the system prompted, the warehouse is open, the hidden divine equipment warehouse in the novice area is being looted. Obtained a full set of God's domain suits, and all attributes were doubled. He distributed his teammates, and Mu Xue took the ice and fire magic crown. Her magic attack exceeded 100,000, and she smiled sweetly, husband, I recognize the master of the magical costume, I love you. Mu Xue and Tang Yu competed for favor. Mu Xue's eyebrows stood up, and her fragrant shoulders collided with Tang Yu, Your Highness, the fusion of the 3 rings is your secondary wedding ring, right? My husband is mine, hold me first. Tang Yu smiled charmingly with her purple eyes, and put a jade bracelet around Yi Chen's waist, sister, the warrior saves me from fire and water, and we will create a new era together, intelligence plus beauty, why not take it? Yi Chen reconciled and tapped the two people's foreheads with the god-slaying blade, and the system's affection value increased by 50%, 2 beloved wives, sharing the buff, the harem is united, it is powerful. Mu Xue's pretty face was slightly red, Tang Yu smiled and cuddled up, the relationship between the 4 people heated up, and the buff for the whole team was increased by an additional 20%. Yi Chen glanced around with a sneer, the god-slaying blade buzzed, the golden light was immortal in the bloody storm, the aura of the king in the novice area soared to the sky, the next wave of encirclement and suppression was already on the way. Rivers of blood surged across the plains, mountains of corpses steamed, the fishy stench assaulted the nostrils like a tide, severed limbs and internal organs squirmed under the residual light of torches, and flies buzzed and circled into black clouds. In the distance, red clouds poured down from the sky like a sea of blood. Thousands of people's footsteps shook the earth. Iron boots crushed the waves of grass. Metal collided like a heavy rain. The war cry went straight into the sky, Yi Chen, you evildoer, suffer death. God's Domain Master Alliance, all T0 professions above level 50, take away the buff, and explode your divine ring. The leader ID, Sword Master of the Divine Realm, floats on the high platform, the green dragon sword buzzes with dragon chants, and the panel flashes live broadcast across the server, level 55, strength 3200, defense 8000, and the sword energy field controls the field for 1,000 meters. He glanced at the remaining soldiers kneeling with a ferocious smile, and said in a thunderous voice, President Mo Fan is here in person, and the blood debt of 1,000 people will be repaid tenfold. The four of Yi Chen, no matter how powerful the buff is, they will drown in a sea of 10,000 people, and the debuff chain will suppress them and they will not be able to move. Mu Xue's pretty face turned pale, her ice and fire magic crown trembled slightly, her magic robe was plump and undulating, her purple eyes stared in panic at the approaching black formation. Honey, 10,000 people are overwhelming. The average master of the divine domain is level 50, the defense of the tank shield wall exceeds 10,000, the assassins in the back row are invisible and the mage, virtual, air confinement, has a short CD, and the magic suppresses the casting of my forbidden spell by 10 seconds. We can't hold on. She held Yi Chen's arms tightly, her fingertips were cold, the heat wave mixed with the smell of sweat hit her face, her HP dropped by 2,000 from the long-range arrow rain, and her health bar flashed in warning. Lu Ting's silver armor hit the arrow, and his sword was corroded by the debuff cloud and mist. His strength plummeted to 500. He gritted his teeth and roared, "Brother Chen, the sword master's two swords are combined, and the blue dragon and white tiger cyclone has an output of over 20,000. One person can beat the three of us." No matter how strong the tacit understanding of the Iron Triangle is, with the crowd tactics and the siege by masters, they can't stop it. Tang Yuehua's clothes were stained with blood, and his purple eyes were filled with mist. Her delicate body nestled against Yi Chen's chest, and her charming voice trembled, "Warrior, the information is urgent, Mo Fan is hiding in the back row, and the NPC rebel bodyguards have infiltrated the Master Alliance. The secret signal is sent, and they are attacked from both inside and outside. I am afraid." She touched Yi Chen's waist with her jade hands, and the fragrant wind mixed with blood hit her nostrils. 4 people were back to back, the wind was howling, the arrows were tearing into the sky, and the roar of fireballs and heat waves distorted the vision. The camera of a passerby player's live broadcast was shaking like chaff, and the ID, plain melon eaters, screamed across the screen, the focus of the whole server. Yi Chen, the 200-level super god, is surrounded by thousands of people, led by the sword master of the divine realm. Mo Fan personally comes to take revenge. Buff snowball for 4 people. Laughing to death, debuff stacked, the panel is reset to 0, waiting for the equipment to be exploded. The avalanche of barrages exploded, Yi Chen overturned the plan. The output panel is crushed, and the AoE of thousands of people is evaporated in seconds. Level 52, Magic and Martial Arts Master, Strength 2800, Magic Attack 50,000, holding the Rebel Scepter, with black light, and said, "Yi Chen, colluded with the NPC Princess." The buff plugin was exposed. All the guild alliances in the server are slaying monsters, kneel down and offer the 3 rings into 1, spare your life. In front of the tank. The shield hit the ground, the shock wave cracked like thunder for hundreds of meters, and dust filled the nose. The assassin became invisible and teleported, the dagger flashed with cold light and the poisonous mist choked people. The mage imprisoned the 4 people in the void with blue light chains. The casting delay increased sharply. Mu Xue's forbidden spell got stuck and screamed, "The magic power is exhausted. Husband, save me." Just when despair was overwhelming, the corners of Yi Chen's mouth widened in a sinister smile, and the golden light in the realm of the divine ring soared 10,000 meters, like a nuclear explosion. The sun engulfed the plane with dazzling heat, the heat wave hit the face and burned the enemy's eyes, the debuff chain cracked and cleared, and the system thundered across the server. The divine ring butcher's super god form is activated, and the 3 rings combine to snowball 1,000 times the buff. Experience feedback from the first kill of 10,000 people, a total of 100 trillion times 150 times equals 1.5 gigabytes. Upgrade to level 300. Unlock the God-slaying mode, all attributes plus 1000%, strength 10,000 plus, attack and defense 200,000, domain expansion, instant kill on all servers, PK value soaring, red name and full level, God-slaying blade evolves. 10,000 swords return to the sect. The enemy tank's eyes widened, its shield fell off its hand and its legs fell to its knees. ID, iron wall collapse, S voice trembled like a sieve, level 300. Jump to level 100 in the blink of an eye. The power of the panel exceeds 10,000, the field suppresses us and we can't move half a point, the defense is 200,000, regardless of the output. What kind of monster? Yi Chen's god-slaying blade was unsheathed, and of the sword swept across 10,000 swords and returned to the clan. The shadow of the sword poured down like a galaxy and covered 300 miles of the plain. The aftermath shattered the mountains and cracked the ground. Blood and flesh spattered like mist and rain. Hot steam was flying from the internal organs of the severed arm. The pile of corpses was 10 meters high. The system continuously sounded like firecrackers. Continuous cuts x500, kill the god's domain tank group, experience 5 million times 1000 times equals 500 million. The total experience explodes and reaches level 400. Attack speed 1200%, strength 15,000. Mu Xue's buffs were shared with snowballs, and the magic surge increased to 120 levels. The ice and fire magic crown flourished, unlocking God's domain ice and fire world destruction. The sea of blue and red light swept 10,000 meters, freezing assassins and incineration mages. The range AoE exceeded 500,000 per second, and the screams were deafening. Husband, share the buff F stacked up to 500 times. My magic attack is 300,000, and the forbidden spell of God's domain has no CD. Tens of thousands of people in the back row evaporated like paper. The wand of the back row mage, Void Demon King, exploded, and he knelt down and worshipped with a trembling voice, ice and fire destroy the world. The magic attack of the panel is 300,000, and a wave of 500 mages appears in 1 second. The health bar is cleared and no damage appears. This shared buff, the whole team is against the sky. Yi Chen is the godly husband. Lu Ting combined his 2 swords, and the divine sword sheaths merged with the rebel armor. The strength exceeded 3,000, and the sword river evolved, double sword slaying dragon. Thousands of people on the flanks fell like mowing grass, and the stench of the river of blood was soaring into the sky. Brother Chen is in god-slaying mode, and Iron Brothers take advantage of it. The double sword chain controlled the whole server, and the sword energy exceeded 50,000. The sword master Qinglong White Tiger was swallowed by the sword river, and he vomited blood and retreated with his eyes bulging. The power of the 2 swords is 3,000 plus. Tang Yu's purple eyes flashed with determination, and she raised her jade hand high to summon the NPC bodyguards. The system's golden light announced, NPC Princess Tang Yu turned against the enemy, summoned the remaining 500 bodyguards of the palace, and turned her loyalty to the god Ring Butcher. The black-armored guards sprang out from the pile of corpses like ghosts, roaring like thunder and pounced on the rebel undercovers. Swords and swords splashed with blood, and the enemy formation collapsed from internal and external attacks. Your Highness, spare your life. We, our own guards, Mo Fan promised buff information to deceive us into revolt. Tang Yueme smiled. Leaning against Yi Chen, her shoulders collided with Mu Xue. Sister, let's create a new era together. My personal guards will help my husband to slaughter his clothes. Why should we compete for favors? Mu Xue raised her eyebrows slightly, fluttering into Yi Chen's arms, squeezing her plumply. Princess sister, I recognize the intelligence beauty, but my husband is the one who hugs me first. Yes. The buffs are shared, the sisters are united, and the harem is happy. Yi Chen laughed and caressed the hair of the 2 of them, and touched their foreheads with the god-slaying blade. The system's emotional value increased by 100%, my dear wives, the buff will be increased by 50%, and the whole team's attack speed will be increased by 10 with the aura of fighting spirit. 0%. 4 people plus guard iron wall, the buff snowball continues to roll. Yi Chen's panel visual live broadcast on the whole server, God Ring Butcher, level 500 God Slayer mode, all attributes plus 1500%. Strength 20,000 plus, attack and defense 500,000, domain pulsating. Players watching the battle frantically refreshed the screen, and the barrage was paralyzed. 500 level panel visualization. 20,000 power to crush the entire server, 500,000 attack and defense invincible, buff superimposed video loop, Chen becomes a god. Mo Fan's face turned pale, and the black light of his scepter surged and he took action himself. Rebel Dark Summon, the black hole swallowed 1,000 meters, and the magic and martial arts fusion charged, Chen, die. The level 52 magic and martial arts panel, the dark field suppresses your buff. The black light rushed in like a tide, the corrosive stench choked the nose, and the debuff tried to lock in. Chen sneered and teleported, swung the god-slaying blade 10,000 swords to return to the clan, the sword Shadow Galaxy swallowed Mo Fan, the health bar cleared in an instant, his head flew up and dropped, Mofan Guild Token, plus, Rebel's final secret message, the system thundered, kill Mo Fan, the first guild leader in the entire server, and the guild collapsed. 100 million times 1,000 times of experience equals 10 billion trillion, level up to 510. The PK value is at full level, and the glory of the god of killing is unlocked. The remnant soldier's eyes widened, his ID, Mo Fan's loyal dog, crouched weakly, and his voice trembled, guild president, instant kill. A level 500 god-slaying sword, 50,000 magic weapon output ignored, the panel gap is huge, our guild, is finished. The alliance of 10,000 people collapsed and scattered, corpses lay all over the field and the blood river submerged the calves, and the purple gold equipment clanked to the ground like a heavy rain. Chen stepped on Mo Fan's corpse, held up his guild token, and glanced at the kneeling soldiers with a cold voice, the alliance of God's rings has been formed. Loyalists will share the buffs, and traitors will be slaughtered without mercy. The soldiers swarmed and knelt down, and the ID, Sword Master remains, kowtowed like garlic, Master, take it. Editor. The level 500 panel is visualized, and the buff snowball is invincible in all servers. We are in alliance with the Dingshan Ring, and the server slaughter is just around the corner. The system announced the Golden Light, the Divine Ring Alliance is established, with more than 1,000 members, and the buffs are shared with the First Legion in the server. Mu Xue's smile wrapped around Yi Chen's waist, Tang Yu's charming eyes were as close as silk to her chest, Lu Ting laughed and patted his shoulder, Brother Chen, the alliance is invincible. The Iron Triangle is expanding, and the next wave will kill anyone. The interaction in the harem heated up, Mu Xue and Tang Yu competed to feed the medicine, and the fragrant lips touched Yi Chen's fingers, and the emotional value exploded with buff plus 30%. Lu Ting picked up the pretense and laughed, Brother Chen, Brother Tai is proud of it. The Divine Domain sword glove is in hand, and the sword river breaks 10,000 meters. The next wave of 10,000 people plus masters will kill it. In the distance, a second wave of red clouds rolled, led by the master ID of the guild and the server, Divine Domain Sword Master, the war cry was like thunder, Chen, evildoer, the alliance of level 50 Divine Domain Masters is here, and the buff deprivation battle begins. Chen sneered, the golden light of the level 200 super god form was shining, the 10,000 meter field was pulsating, the novice zone was bloody, and the whole server was upgraded to kill the gods. On the bloody plain, the mountains of corpses are like wriggling mounds of flesh. The hot steam is mixed with the stench of decay, and the internal organs of the severed limbs shine with a moist luster in the moonlight. Flies buzz like thunder clouds. The number of new members of the God's Ring Alliance exceeds 1,000. The IDs of the kneeling stragglers flicker like a sea of stars. The kowtows are as dense as a heavy rain hitting the ground. The excited screams shake the eardrums, Great God! Share the buff and we will follow. 500 level panel visualization, the whole server is invincible. The God's Ring Alliance is invincible. Chen stepping on Mo Fan's corpse, holding the guild token high, the golden light pulsed, the afterglow of the god-slaying blade illuminated his face with a cold face, the system panel floated live broadcast to the whole server, God Ring Butcher, level 510 god-slaying mode, all attributes plus 1,500%, strength 20,000 plus, attack and defense 500,000, Domain pulsating all servers. Mu Xue's delicate body pressed against Yi Chen's waist, the aftermath of the magic power of the ice and fire crown distorted the air, her plump breasts rose and fell against the heat waves, her purple eyes smiled charmingly. Husband, the alliance has just been formed, sisters come to give me medicine to celebrate. Tang Yuehua's clothes were stained with blood, her fragrant shoulder lightly touched Mu Xue, her jade hand touched Yi Chen's chest, her fingertips slid across the god's domain cloak. Her charming voice Rusi, warrior, my personal guards have been integrated into the alliance. The intelligence sharing buff will be increased by 20%, and we will create a prosperous world together. Lu Ting laughed and patted Yi Chen on the shoulder. His silver armor jingled and blood splashed, and his swords buzzed with sword energy. Brother Chen, the Iron Triangle has become an Iron Legion. The two swords slay the dragon and control the field. The next wave of rebels will slaughter as many as they can. Just as the three people in the harem were surrounded by the fragrant fragrance and the alliance cheered loudly, a red announcement across the server exploded the eardrums like bloody thunder, and the virtual earth trembled. The main city in the distance was blazing red, reflecting half of the night sky. Evil, kneeling down with weak legs, his voice trembled like a candle in the wind. Millions of rebels. 1 hour has passed since the fall of the main city. The alliance of players in the main city of God's domain has collapsed. The boss Rebel King panel is exposed, level 80, strength 50,000, magic resistance 100,000, summoning a wave of millions of corpses, and a national war level domain to suppress the whole city. The new alliance has just become the monster of Pengxi. The barrage avalanche paralyzed the whole server live broadcast. Yi Chen's Divine Ring Alliance is facing 1 million people. It's ridiculous. The rebel boss is on the national battle difficulty. The defense of the tank team exceeds 200,000. The back row necromancer debuff is fully stacked and evaporates in seconds. No matter how strong the Divine Ring buff is, the sea of people will drown. Mu Xue's pretty face turned pale, and her jade hands clenched Yi Chen's arms. Her fingertips were cold and she felt panic and sweat. Husband, the main city is on fire, and millions of footsteps are shaking the ground like an earthquake. The Sea Rebel Army has infiltrated the players undercover, and the intelligence shows that the Rebel King is hiding the ultimate conspiracy. Thousands of people in our alliance are useless. Tang Yu's purple eyes flashed eagerly, her delicate body leaned closer, and the fragrance was mixed with blood. Warrior, my personal guard reported, after Mo Fan's secret letter pointed to the Rebel King, the national war is waiting for a counterattack. But, the scale of 1 million, the domain suppression buff is reduced by 50%, it may be difficult to match. Yi Chen's grin continued unabated, he tapped Mo Fan's corpse with the god-slaying blade, and the system dinged continuously to pick up and drop. Obtain Mo Fan's guild token, alliance upgrade plus full server recruitment buff plus 100%, the final secret message of the rebels, unlock the hidden plot of the uprising, national war counterattack intelligence, dark scepter fragments, fused with the god-slaying blade, output plus 5,000%. He fused on the spot, and the black golden light of the god-slaying blade skyrocketed, and the panel visualization was upgraded. Wang Jian returned to the clan to evolve the dark god-slaying sword, with a range expanded to thousands of miles, no CD for combos, and soul-absorbing experience feedback 2,000 times. The total experience snowball rolls, reaching level 520. Strength 25,000 plus, attack and defense 600,000. The alliance recruit's eyes widened, his iron wall collapse, opened his mouth in an O shape, and his voice shook like chaff, fusion level up to 520 in seconds. The dark god-slaying sword swallows the sky with black light, the panel power is 25,000, visually suppressing the whole server. We share the buff snowball and feel that the attributes are doubled. This God among gods. Lu Ting's eyes shined, the rebel commander's armor buzzed, absorbing the afterglow of the fragments, his power soared by 4,000 plus, dual swords. The dragon-slaying sword energy was as strong as a solid substance. Brother Chen is awesome. Brother Iron's strength has exceeded 4,000, the sword river has expanded to the edge of the whole server, and the field control is invincible. Mu Xue and Tang Yu's buffs synchronized with snowballs, the magic attack soared to 400,000, and the upper limit of personal guard summons exceeded 1,000. The two sisters shouted coquettishly, excitedly pushing each other and hugging Yi Chen, husband/warrior, share the upgrade. The range of ice and fire destruction in the god's domain is doubled, and Tang Yu's personal guard cavalry charge combo is seamless. During a brief repair, Yi Chen took stock of the war profits. Mountains of purple gold equipment were piled up in the corpse mountain, the system was automatically smelted, the full set of divine domain suits were sublimated, the defense of the palace guardian cloak exceeded 10,000, the immune control was 80%, the fighting spirit aura expanded the alliance's attack speed plus 200%, and the critical hit rate was 100%. With a wave of his hand, the buff sharing was fully activated. The golden light flooded thousands of recruits. The panels collectively flashed and upgraded, and people screamed in admiration, "Great God sharing. We have reached an average of 50 levels, with strength exceeding 1,000 and defense of 50,000. The buff snowball rolling feels infinitely superimposed. The God of Rings alliance is truly the best in the entire server." The live broadcast camera of the whole server zoomed in. The passerby player ID, Plain Melon Eater, live broadcast room was full, and the barrage was blasting. Yi Chen repaired for 5 minutes, thousands of people in the alliance striving to reach the top. Sharing the buff visuals, sublimating the corpse mountain smelting suit, even the rebels will kneel down when they arrive. Yi Chen glanced at the crowd with a sneer, and said in a thunderous voice, "God Ring Alliance, rush to the main city at full speed to kill the rebel king." The experience feedback of the whole team has reached the level of 1,000. The loyalists share eternity, and the rebels have no bones left. The alliance's war cry was like a tsunami, the iron boots crushed the corpse mountain, and the blood river splashed with fishy waves, and thousands of horses galloped towards the main city of the god's domain with flames rising into the sky. Hundreds of miles outside the main city, in the wilderness, the NPC rebel army covered the sky with darkness. Millions of war flags were hunting. Iron hooves shook the ground like a doomsday earthquake. The tide of undead corpses filled the nostrils with rotten odor, and the cries of ghosts and wolves were deafening. The rebel king's high platform is floating in the air, the crown's black light is pulsing, and the entire server panel is exposed. Level 80 National War Boss, with a power of 50,000, a magic resistance of 100,000, the Dark Kingdom domain overwhelming the whole city, and summoning 1,000,000 zombies. The debuff attenuates the player's buff by 70%. The remnants of the players fled in all directions, the tank shield wall collapsed, and the mage's magic power was exhausted and screamed, "The king's domain is suppressed," the buff returns to 0. Millions of corpses are sucking AoE blood, HP is crazy, our alliance is over. The barrage collapsed, the main city fell in 30 minutes. Yi Chen's alliance is late, the rebel king has no solution, and the difficulty of the national war is to kill the gods. The alliance of gods ring entered the battle circle, thousands of people fought against tens of thousands of troops, Lu Ting's double sword slayed dragons, and the sword river swept across the flanks 10,000 meters, and the rebels were like cuts. The grass fell and blood mist sprayed, the iron triangle opens the way. Brother Chen, the corrosive stench of the king's domain is choking, and the buff is fading and trying to lock us in. Mu Xue's ice and fire world-destroying sea of blue and red light erupted, freezing the forwards and incineration of the corpse tide, and the heat wave distorted vision. Yi, husband, 400,000 magic attacks can't suppress a sea of millions of people, and the bodyguards can't withstand it. Tang Yu summoned 1,000 bodyguards and cavalry, with swords and blood and shadows inside. Warrior, the king's bodyguards are undercover players, and they are wrapped in debuff chains. Overwhelmed with despair, the rebellious king raised his crown with a ferocious smile. The black hole swallowed 1,000 meters of darkness and the realm expanded. Corrosion debuffs flooded the alliance like a tide. The buffs were attenuated by 70%. The recruits' health bars dropped wildly and they knelt down and wailed, "There is no solution to the realm. The power has returned to 0. The king's 50,000-meter power can shatter the mountain with one palm. We can't move. Live broadcast by passers-by. Screaming, Chen overturned. Thousands of alliances were suppressed, millions of zombies surrounded, and the main city fell in a sea of fire. At this moment, Chen burst into laughter, the golden and black light of the god ring skyrocketed and the whole server pulsed, the heat wave burned the enemy's eyes, the dark field cracked and cleared, and the system thundered and the whole server was broadcast live. God ring butcher dark god slaughter mode is activated. 3 rings combined into 1 plus MO fan fragments, the buff snowball can be infinitely stacked 1,000 times. Kill 100,000 rebels for the first time, and the feedback experience will be 10 trillion times 2,000 times equals 20,000 trillion. Upgrade to level 1000. All attributes plus 3000%, strength 100,000 plus, attack and defense 2 million, thousands of swords return to the clan, thousands of miles across the galaxy, no CD. The king's dog eyes protruded, the crown trembled, and his voice trembled, level 1000. The panel power of 100,000 visually crushes me 50,000 times, and the domain backlashes, what kind of monster god ring? Chen swung the god-slaying blade, and the dark galaxies poured out for thousands of miles. The shadow of the sword covered the main city like a black gold rainstorm. The aftermath shattered the city wall and cracked the ground hundreds of feet. The flesh and blood of tens of thousands of rebels evaporated and disappeared into ashes. The corpse ash was blown by the hot wind. The system firecrackers went off continuously. Continuous kills. The total number of levels is 1,200. Mu Xue's buffs were shared and stacked wildly, reaching level 300. Ice and fire destroyed the world and evolved, God's domain ice and fire heavenly punishment. The sea of light swept across the back row, and the blue and red volcano erupted and froze 500,000 rebels. She screamed in the sky, husband, share 1,000 times the magic attack and break through 1,000,000. Heavenly punishment has no CD, and the zombie tide evaporates completely. Her purple eyes are fanatical, and the magic robe hunts. Lu Ting's double sword chain merged with the sword river, and the power exceeded 10,000, and the dragon-slaying combo controlled the entire army. Brother Chen's magical skill. Brother Tai's sword energy exceeded 200,000, and the rebels couldn't move. Tang Yu's bodyguard's cavalry buff increased sharply, and his summons exceeded 10,000, and the enemy's formation was destroyed by internal and external attacks. The warrior is invincible. Together with my sisters, the health bar of King Boss has bottomed out. The 4-man iron triangle plus bodyguard combo broke out. Chen teleported to the high platform. The god-slaying blade pierced the rebel king's chest and struck the dark galaxy to engulf the crown. The king's eyes widened with blood and he vomited blood and knelt down. Impossible, a 1,000-level god-slaying strike, a power of 100,000 that ignores magic resistance, and a national war boss in an instant. The system's golden light shot into the sky and all servers announced, the god ring butcher kills the rebel king for the first time. Drop, king's crown, dominator of all servers, uprising ultimate secret message. Experience 100 trillion times 2,000 times equals 200,000 trillion, level up to 1,500. The buff snowball is broken 5,000 times, and all attributes are plus 5,000%. The remnants of the main city players knelt down to worship, and the ID, main city survivor, kowed out and trembled. 1,500 level panel visualization. Power 500,000 plus, attack and defense over 100 million, the god of killing live stream wiped out 1,000,000 troops with one blow, god among gods. The god of rings alliance worshipped as a god. The whole server was paralyzed by barrage and revolt. Chen butchers the god. Unlimited buffs, the king's first kill is the first in the server, and the alliance has expanded to 10,000 people. Just at the time of the carnival, red announcements across the entire server system roared like thunder, shaking every inch of the virtual earth. Emergency announcement, the NPC uprising has broken out in full force. The rebel leaders gathered millions and marched into the main city. The player alliance collapsed and a new era of bloody battles began. Countdown to the fall of the main city of God's domain, 1 hour. Black clouds rolled in the sky, NPC battle flags covered the sky, the main city in the distance was in flames, and the sound of killing came like a tsunami. In the afterglow of the climax, Mu Xue, Tang Yu, and Lu Ting surrounded Chen. The three people in the harem touched their cheeks and the backs of their hands together with their sweet lips. Their sweet smiles and coquettish voices intertwined. Husband, warrior, brother Chen, the god husband is invincible. The buff will be shared forever, and the harem will work together to kill the server. The emotional value exploded, and the buff increased by 100%. The alliance cheered like a tsunami, and players flocked to join. Over 10,000 players. Chen laughed and hugged the three of them, and the top of the panel visually shone throughout the server. On the high platform of the main city, the black blood of the king's corpse was still bubbling, and the rotten stench hit the nostrils like a tide. The burnt smell mixed with the ashes of the burned corpse penetrated the nostrils, making the stomachs of the thousands of newly joined alliance members churn. The red light projection of the ultimate secret message hung in the air like a blood curtain, and the handwriting was twisted and squirming. The live broadcast camera of the whole server was zoomed in, and the cold system sound effects buzzed and reverberated in the eardrums. Mo Fan faked his death and lurked, colluding with the national war forces in foreign servers, and the countdown of 1 million reinforcements is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. The mole has infiltrated the alliance of God's rings. The shout stopped abruptly. The army of 10,000 people seemed to be frozen by frost. The glow of the buff on the flashing ID panel dimmed. The recruit, Blood Plains survivor, knelt down with weak legs. His voice shook like a broken leaf in the wind. The ghost. We just paid homage to the great god. The buff snowball was shared 5,000 times. Now, with millions of reinforcements in the external server, Mo Fan faked his death and summoned all the guilds in the server to fight back after his guild token was stolen. Stack, the Alliance of Divine Rings is scheduled to overturn. The external reinforcement panel is exposed, average level 60, tank defense 300,000, mage debuff stacking, national war field suppression buff attenuated by 80%, Chen is drowned in the sea of people even if he is level 1,500. When the inner ghost makes a fuss, the back row collapses instantly. Chen frowned slightly, lightly tapping the king's corpse with the god-slaying blade. The crown's golden and black light pulsed into the panel, and the system clanged low. The king's crown merges, the domain master sublimates and the whole server pulses plus, but the external interference debuff tries to lock the snowball 5,000 times, and the attenuation risk is 30%. His stern face reflected the firelight, and the heat wave burned the surrounding air, but he felt a faint black mist rolling in from the horizon, or flags looming in the distant sky, black clouds pressing like mountains falling, iron hooves faintly shaking the earth, and a low hum reaching into the bone marrow. Mu Xue's delicate body trembled, her purple eyes were filled with mist, her plump breasts pressed against Chen's arms, and her fingertips were cold and she felt panic and sweat. Husband, the secret message points to the wilderness 100 miles southeast of the rebel camp. Mo Fan's remnants are hiding, and the vanguard of foreign reinforcements has broken through. Empty door, intelligence shows that the insider ID has mixed into our back row, and the debuff tried to counterattack when the buff was shared just now. The Alliance's 10,000 people panel is visualized, the average strength is only 2,000, and it will be broken into pieces when it encounters a foreign tank group in one charge. The blood on Tang Yuehua's clothes dried up, her fragrant shoulders trembled slightly, her jade hand touched Chen's chest, her fingertips trembled slightly as she slid across the god's domain cloak, her charming voice was filled with rare urgency. Warrior, my personal guard spies are disconnected, the middle-level boss of the camp, rebels, Shadow General, level 60 leader fakes death and the remnant party. The debuff chain of the phantom clone cannot be solved, an internal response is needed to uncover the control of the external domain. But the footsteps of millions of reinforcements are like earthquakes, the smelly wind is blowing in the face, and the pulse of the crown is faintly suppressed by the domain. Lu Ting's swords buzzed, and the blood beads on his silver armor solidified into cold sweat like frost. He patted Yi Chen's shoulder hard, but his palms became slightly soft. His voice was as low as thunder as the sword energy spread out. "Brother Chen, the iron triangle has to move. The foreign reinforcements are at the national war level, with an average panel strength of 30,000. Jinhe's control field cannot withstand the sea of people. I spy on the camp intelligence, but the intelligence from the insider shows that Mo Fan has summoned collecting the top 100 guilds in the entire server, linking the countdown to the national war siege." The new recruits in the alliance stared wide-eyed. The ID, main city tank scum, opened his mouth in an O shape, and his legs trembled softly. "Great God, I just killed the king and felt so good." Now in the outer server, black clouds cover the sky, and the battle flag hunt is roaring. Our buff shared attenuation is trying to be activated, HP automatically drops blood, and whoever believes in the hidden ghost will die. All server guild barrage taunts. The God of Rings alliance is weak, a level 1500 single-core carry can't carry 1,000,000. The oppressive air is like a lead weight pressing on the chest. The army of 10,000 people is breathing heavily, the firelight is red, the face is twisted and fearful, the residual heat of the corpse mountain is mixed with the black mist and putrid smell, the sound of iron hooves in the distant wilderness is getting closer like the heartbeat is accelerating, the system red announcement flashes. Foreign service reinforcement vanguard exceeds 100,000, debuff area is expanded, 50 miles. Outside the main city is blocked. Yi Chen's smile did not diminish, but he took a deep breath of bloody hot wind, waved his hand. Mo Fan's guild token burst into golden light, and the recruitment buff of the whole server was plus 100% pulsating. The panel visual live broadcast, emergency recruitment of the Alliance of Divine Rings, loyalists share the crown field plus 5,000 times the snowball, but the insider review debuff is locked, and the betrayer is instantly killed. Recruits flocked to join and exceeded 20,000, but they were mixed with whispers of panic. "The great god is awesome, but the foreign forces are controlled by the foreign god boss." The black hand behind the uprising was exposed. Mo Fan faked his death to call the guild. The national war besieged our alliance and bore the brunt. He deployed in a low voice, his voice like a cold blade cutting the air. "Xue's illusion skills are hidden. At the camp, Tang Yuenei should be attacked by his bodyguards to expose the conspiracy. Brother Ting is spying on the Shadow General boss. I control the crown pulse to suppress the enemy. The whole army is on the high platform. The combat aura is at full attack speed plus 200%, critical hit is 100%, and the mountain of corpses is building a wall for defense." The afterglow distorted her vision. She touched Yi Chen's cheek with her delicate hand, and put her fragrant lips close to her ear. The hot breath hit her nostrils. "Honey, be careful, the harem raised me to upgrade, Phantom of Ice and Fire. The magic attack can sneak without a trace, but the Shadow General in the camp will choke people with debuff chains." Tang Yu's purple eyes flashed, summoning his bodyguard to break through the invisible stealth. "Okay," the cavalry roared in hoofbeat. "Warrior, my skill has been upgraded to Phantom Summoning from the Royal Palace, the personal guard's loyalty buff plus 200%, I should get the secret message directly." Lu Ting laughed to cover up his trembling, and the two swords of the dragon-slaying sword concentrated. "Brother Chen, Brother Jinhe is sneaking and spying, the power is 10,000 plus the Shadow General who controls the field. The four-man Iron Triangle plus guard team is instant, Yi Chen's crown pulsating gold and black light curtain protects the body, the Palace Guardian cloak has defense of 10,000 plus immune control 80%, the Dark God-slaying sword hums and charges, the flying skill is faintly unlocked and the prompt flashes, the buff snowball superposition exceeds 6,000 times, the experience feedback is 2,000 times, and the level is upgraded to 1520. Unlock, Dark God-slaying wings, and teleport thousands of miles. But the black clouds pressed lower, the battle flags of foreign reinforcements came like a tsunami, the stinking wind corroded the air and stung the nose, and the iron hooves shook the high platform and the gravel rolled down. The recruits screamed, the reinforcements' vanguard tank regiment charges against the mountain with 300,000 defenses. We are surrounded by debuff chains. Our fighting aura cannot withstand it. The barrage across the server taunted like a knife. Chen sneaked in to send you. The camp's Baileying general boss has countless clones, and the illusion mage's debuff evaporates in the harem in seconds. On the way into the wilderness, the black mist in the wilderness was as thick as ink, the cracking sound of broken bones underfoot, and the choking smell of rotting corpses made your throat burn. Mu Xue's phantom ice and fire trail was turned on, her figure was twisted like blue and red smoke, and her magic attack was suppressing the spy's field of vision. She whispered, "Husband, the Shadow General's bodyguard patrols the camp, level 60 panel power is 20,000, Shadow Clone debuff attenuates buff by 50%, bodyguard intelligence, the external force, Void Demon God, controls the uprising, Mo Fan fakes his death and sacrifices to the Alliance." Tang Yuqin. Wei Meiying sneaked, the sound of the cavalry's hooves was as faint as a ghost, and the jade hand pulled Mu Xuexiang's shoulder. Sisters work together, the Shadow General's center tent is pulsating with black light, and the ultimate map is hidden. Lu Ting Jianhe controlled the field to lower the sound of the waves, and his swords whispered, "Brother Chen, the spying was successful, the Shadow General boss summoned a zombie wave to try to surround us, our team's HP dropped by 10%, and the debuff stinks to the bones." Fighting broke out, and the first wave of shadows rushed out the personal guards. The black shadows rushed in like a tide, the ghost claws corroded the air and screamed, and the claws cut the face in pain. Lu Ting's two swords exploded to slay the dragon. 10,000 meters of sword river swept across the flanks. Blood mist sprayed and heat waves hit his face. However, he was wrapped in chains by the shadow clone. The power panel trembled, damn. The debuff stacked 3 times, and the sword energy output was reduced by 30%. The Shadow General laughed, "Player dog, even at level 1500, he kneels down to the gods of the outside world." Mu Xue's OEC of blue and red light exploded, freezing and incinerating thousands of shadow guards. The screams were deafening, the illusion is broken. But millions of magic attacks can't suppress the regeneration of clones. The harem skills are being upgraded, and the snowball is rolling slowly. Tang Yu's personal guards broke through 10,000 attacks, and the swords and bloody shadows were rolled in, but they heard the guards roaring, "Princess, the Shadow General's debuff corrodes loyalty, and the inner ghost is trying to betray you." Chen smiled sinisterly, the dark god-slaying wings were unlocked for the first time, and the black gold wings spread out and seared into the sky, teleporting thousands of miles away. Rushing, the galaxy of 10,000 swords poured down, the black gold rainstorm of sword shadows covered the camp, the aftermath shattered the tents and cracked the ground 10 feet, tens of thousands of shadow guards were ashes, the hot wind blew into the nostrils, and the system firecrackers sounded muffled. Continuous beheading X50,000, the first kill of the Shadow General's personal guard. Experience 5 trillion times 2000 times equals 10,000 trillion. Upgrade to level 1550. The buff snowball is broken 7,000 times, and all attributes are plus 6,000%. Strength 550,000 plus, attack and defense 120 million. The Shadow General's dog eyes protruded, and the middle boss panel had a level 60 power of 20,000 and a trembling voice, level 1550. The Darkwing teleports without CD, the galaxy crushes me 10 times, and the buff snowball outland debuff can't be locked. The Shadow General of the middle boss raised his shadow staff, and the black hole debuff area expanded. Corroding chains were like 10,000 pythons entangling the team. The stench was choking and the HP dropped wildly. The recruits passed by the live broadcast and screamed, "Live broadcast of the camp battle." Chen has unlocked the god, but the Shadow General is defeated by the boss in the national battle. The clones regenerate infinitely, the harem's HP is red, the reinforcements count down to 5 minutes, and the external tank hits the high platform. Mu Xue and Tang Yu's harem cultivation exploded, the emotional value plus 200%, Mu Xue rose to level 350, God's Domain Ice and Fire Heavenly Punishment Phantom Edition, evaporated clones without CD, light the sea blue and red volcano exploded, and the frozen shadow wave distorted, husband, the sisters' skills are fused, and the magic attack is 1.2 million in the shadow-breaking field. Tang Yu was promoted to level 25, Palace Phantom Iron Cavalry, flying, and the bodyguard spread out the wing shadow charge, and the internal and external attacks collapsed the shadow general's health bar, warrior, the hidden map has dropped. The ultimate conspiracy of the void demon god in the outer realm has been exposed. Mo Fan summons all the guilds in the server to launch a siege. The high platform of the Divine Ring Alliance is in danger. Lu Ting's Jinha chain counter-controlled, with a power of 12,000 to break the shadow lock. Brother Chen, Iron Triangle flying combo, Shadow General kneels down. Yi Chen's god-slaying blade pierced the Shadow General's chest, and the Dark Galaxy swallowed up the Shadow Staff. It flew away with a blow, and the system's golden light shot into the sky, kill the Shadow General for the first time. Dropped, Rebel Hidden Map, unlocks the Outer Void Gate plus Mo Fan's hiding place, Shadow Clone Scepter, Fusion buff plus entire illusion team. Experience 100,000 trillion times 2000 is equal to 200,000 trillion, upgrade to level 1600. Snowball 8,000 times. The buff of the team skyrocketed, the flying wings were fully activated, and the heat wave surged into the sky to return to the high platform. The interaction between Alliance players was crazy, and passers-by ID, Camp Eater, worshipped, 1600 level panel visualization. Power of 550,000 shadow-crushing generals, Faetian unlocks the first place in the whole server, Alliance expands by 30,000, buff-sharing snowball rolls infinitely. Mu Xue Tang Yu's delicate body pressed against Yi Chen, her fragrant lips touched her cheeks, her charming smile was suppressed. Husband/warrior, we are working together to upgrade the harem, but the hidden map is flashing red. Mo Fan's whole server guild is under national war level siege, the high platform is covered by black clouds, millions of foreign servers plus internal ghosts erupt, and the countdown is 1 minute. The sound of killing is rolling like thunder, and the tsunami is coming. Lu Ting gasped and laughed, Brother Chen, the Iron Legion is holding on, but the guild tanks are debuffed. Relmef has locked the main city, taunting the barrage, the end of the Divine Ring. Black clouds exploded in the sky, and the national war flags poured out like a sea of blood. Mo Fan's shadow floated in the sky and grinned, Yi Chen, die. The whole server guild alliance, the national war god slaughter begins. The high platform was as majestic as a cliff, and the sound of falling gravel could be heard. The mixed iron hoofs shook the ground and hummed like 10,000 drums. Black clouds covered the stars, and a bloody and putrid wind swept in from the wasteland, making the recruits' throats burn and they coughed repeatedly. The IDs of the 30,000 players in the Alliance of God's ring flickered like fireflies, and the golden light of their fighting spirit pulsated but was eroded by the black mist of the Outland debuff. The attack speed was plus 200% and slowly distorted. The critical hit was 100%. The panel was faintly red, and the HP bar collectively dropped by 5%. The Vanguard tank regiment of the foreign reinforcements came like a torrent of steel. The huge shield with a defense of 300,000 hit the ground and cracks spread 10 feet. The debuff chain whip shadow sucked the air and hissed. The back row mage debuff stacked blue light and flashed. The domain suppression snowball attenuated 8,000 times and tried to activate 30%. Mo Fan's phantom floated in the air, grinning ferociously, and his voice was as harsh as metal friction and was broadcast live across the server, Yi Chen, the national war god slaughter. Millions of tanks, mages, and archers from the top 100 guild alliances in the server are pressing forward. No matter how powerful your crown is, you will kneel down in the crowd. The inner ghost broke out, and the alliance's backline self-destructed. The system's red announcements flashed like tears of blood, the void gate of the foreign server is fully opened, the reinforcements exceed 500,000, the suppressing god ring buff in the national war field is reduced by 50%, and the high platform is blocked. The new recruit, Gao Tai cannon fodder, threw himself on the street with weak legs, his ID panel power was only 1500 and trembling. He stared at the black clouds and flags with wide eyes, his voice trembling like a candle in the wind. The great god came back to help. But the foreign tank hit the mountain, the buff locks my HP and reduces it by 30%. The inner ghost's ID flashes red and mixes in the back row. Our snowball sharing can't stand it. I just worshipped level 1600 and now I'm scheduled to kill them all. The barrage ridicules, God's Ring Alliance is a loser, buff snowball outland. Controlled by the god boss, the void demon, Chen's harem HP can't even be saved. Passers-by and players interacted wildly, and there was an avalanche of red letters in the live broadcast room. Mo Fan is awesome. Feigning death to summon the Guild War Alliance, Chen's Iron Triangle plus the personal guard team had just slaughtered the Shadow General and had a great time. Now the walls of the corpse mountain on the high platform are shattered, the smelly wind corrodes the cloaks, the Alliance has expanded to 30,000 recruits, the average level is 40, and they evaporate in seconds when encountering a tank group. Mu Xue's delicate body clung to Chen's arm, her purple eyes condensed with mist. Heavy, plump breasts undulating, hot sweat soaked the magic robe, the fragrance is fragrant with the residual warmth of ice and fire. Husband, the high platform is an emergency, the phantom ice, fire and heavenly punishment demon attack 1.2 million cannot suppress the debuff field, the back row mages are all dizzy, the relationship between the sisters is off the charts but the HP is on alert. Tang Yuehua's clothes were stained with blood. Her jade hand caressed Chen's chest and her cold fingertips slid across the cloak. Her charming voice was as sharp as a breath. Warrior, the bodyguards broke through the phantom wings to suppress the flanks, but the void demon god in the conspiracy was revealed, and the red light on the hidden map pointed to Mo Fan hiding in the final area. The iron hooves of the foreign reinforcements shattered the bone marrow. Lu Ting's sword screamed, and the blood was frosted. He slapped the railing of the high platform hard, and his voice was as low as thunder. Brother Chen, the iron triangle can withstand it. Jianhe's field control strength of 12,000 can't break through the tank's defense of 300,000 people, but the Shadow Clone Scepter fusion buff tries to bite back the inner ghost. The Alliance recruits are screaming and their legs are weak, and the whole server guild is mocking. Chen's grin continued unabated, the dark god-slaying black gold wings spread out with a heat wave that scorched the sky thousands of feet. He teleported and swooped down to the high platform, the crown pulsating golden and black light curtain erupted, the entire server domain dominated the sublimation pulsating suppression debuff with only 10% attenuation, and his brain the sea is like lightning circling. A sea of millions of people in the foreign server, tanks, mages and archers are all pressing together. The average level 60 panel strength is 30,000, the snowball is locked 8,000 times in the national war field, the black hand of the void demon in the outer domain controls Mo Fan's fake death, and the Alliance has 30,000 new recruits. The average strength is 2,000, which is broken into paper when faced with a charge, but the hidden map unlocks Mo Fan's hiding place plus void gate weakness. The Shadow Clone Scepter illusion buffs the whole team, the King's Crown server-wide. Pulsation can reverse recruitment, and the snowball experience feedback is 200 times if it exceeds level 10,000, the equipment is all god level and it sweeps. The dangerous inner ghost explodes in the back row, and the team is sacrificed in exchange for intelligence. The strategic plan, train the Iron Army to switch from defense to offense, single-handedly challenge in the preliminaries to shock the entire server, and the plot to hook Mo Fan in the finals emerges. He took a deep breath of the bloody hot wind and waved Mo Fan's guild token with a golden light. The entire server had an emergency recruitment buff plus 100% pulsating visual live broadcast. The Alliance of God's Rings prepares for the national war. Loyalists share snowball 8,000 times plus shadow clone illusion, inner ghost audit debuff instant kill, crown pulsation suppresses the outside world. The recruits swarmed to over 50,000. And the panel strength skyrocketed to an average of 5,000, but there were whispers of panic. Great God's wisdom. Foreign vanguard tanks are crashing into us, debuff chains are choking our noses, and our fighting spirit aura is fully activated, but we are still on our knees. All the troops obey the order. Chen's voice was like a cold blade cutting through the black mist. The god-slaying blade tapped the high platform. The afterglow of the galaxy of swords returned to sweep away the tank vanguard. The black gold rain of the sword's shadow poured out, broken shields and armor, hot blood splashed in the face. The system firecrackers sounded muffled. AoE consecutive kills x 30,000. The first kill of the vanguard of the foreign tank regiment, experienced 3 trillion times 2000 times equals 60,000 trillion. The snowball breaks 9,000 times. Alliance players' eyes widened. Tank Buster Brother, S mouth opened in an O shape, his legs were soft and he knelt down and worshipped with a trembling voice. Level 1600 Galaxy has no CD. Power of 550,000 to crush the tank, defense of 300,000 as paper, attack and defense of 120 million, immunity to debuff, snowball rolling, unable to lock outland, great god is ready for war. He sneered at the game mentally. MO fans' shadow hides a conspiracy, and the national war preliminaries will be held. He will use the first victory in a duel to absorb the traffic of the entire server, train and transform the new Iron Army, and sacrifice the intelligence of the inner ghost in exchange for reversal. Brother Ting, teach sword skills to the whole army. Jinha Field Control teaches the whole army melee combat. The rebel commander's armor is fused with a double sword suit, and the power is 120,000 plus critical hit 200% demonstration. Lu Ting laughed to hide his trembling. The heat wave of the silver armor was steaming. The swords of the Dragon Slayer exploded and swept across the high platform. The new recruit's sword energy buzzed harshly. He personally suppressed the tank's aftermath, and his voice was thunderous. Brothers, look at the Jinha Field Control chain counter-control debuff. Feitian combo jumps up and cuts the back of the tank's neck, and the strength of the panel is doubled. The new soldier, swordsman rookie, S eyes bulged, his sword energy was beginning to hit the air, and his hands were trembling in worship. The original strength of the sword river is 5,000, and the debuff of the field-controlled archer is invincible, and the iron triangle is invincible. The hunting purple eyes of Mu Xue's magic robe flickered, and her jade hand touched Yi Chen's cheek, and the hot breath hit her nose. She smiled sweetly to suppress her panic. Honey, Xue is passing on the magic. God's Domain Ice and Fire Heavenly Punishment Phantom version of the magic attack 1.2 million CD free thousands of miles AoE, Illusion Stealth Fusion Shadow Clone Staff, all the magicians learned to suppress the tank regiment. A sea of blue and red light flashed on the high platform, freezing. Shattering incineration charged at the remaining enemies, screaming and ear-splitting heat waves distorted the vision. The new mage Ice and Fire Mengxin, opened his beautiful eyes. The magic robe was wet with sweat, and his voice trembled charmingly. Sister Xue, the master of the harem. Learn 100,000 magic attacks, dodge debuff chains with illusions, evaporate the external mage with thousands of miles of AoE, and the buff-sharing snowball has exceeded 10,000 levels. Tang Yu summoned her bodyguards to spread out the phantom iron cavalry. The sound of hoofbeats was ghostly. She hugged Mu Xue Mei Xiao and said in unison, Sisters, I share the NPC's weakness. The shadow clone of the uprising rebels is afraid of the crown pulse. The hidden map of the void demon god's domain is exposed. The southeastern finals area, Mo Fan is hiding to sacrifice the inner ghost. The flanking attack is taught, and the loyalty buff is plus 200% for the whole army. The guard sword light and blood shadow are rolled in. The new cavalry learns the wing shadow charge. The night passerby, trembles with iron hooves, and the dog's eyes are filled with blood and shouts, princess's magical skill. The NPC's weak nurse controls the field. The armor of the external tank is broken by the flanking attack. The Alliance's Iron Army is formed, and the snowball experience feedback rolls infinitely. Training is in full swing. Sword energy, magic light and iron hooves interweave on the high platform, humming and heat waves scorch the sky. The Alliance panel is visually broadcast live on all servers. Average level breaks 50, strength 10,000 plus, magic attack 500,000, fighting spirit aura attack speed plus 300%, critical hit 150%, snowball breaks 10,000 times. Yi Chen accelerated the game in his mind. sacrificing the information of the Shadow General in exchange for full god-level equipment. The Dark God-slaying sword evolved and the 1,000 swords returned to 1,000 miles of galaxy without CD output plus 5,000%, the Palace Guardian cloak plus Divine Domain set defense 200 million immunity control 90%, the King's Crown server-wide pulsating suppression void gate debuff. Mu Xue's Vanguard raid is coming. The Black Cloud split. The National War Tank Regiment's 100,000 iron shields crashed into the mountains and cracked the ground, the debuff chain pythons rushed towards the stench and choked the nose, and the mage's debuff stacked 10 layers of blue light to suppress the snowball attenuation attempt by 60%. The recruits screamed in panic, Vanguard attack. Tanks defend against a sea of 400,000 people. The Alliance just trained and can't withstand it. But Chen smiled ferociously and teleported, his dark wings spread out, and the god-slaying blade galaxies poured out to cover the front line. The rain of black gold swords kept steaming with blood, and the tank's broken shields flew away. The system's golden light soared into the sky, single target continuous kill upgrade to level 1650. Snowball 12,000 times. All attributes plus 7,000%. Strength 600,000 plus, attack and defense 150 million. The tank commander's dog eyes protruded, and the level 60 panel with a strength of 30,000 trembled, level 1650. The galaxy crushed me 20 times, the wings teleported without a trace, and the buff snowball could not be locked by the gods of the outer world. Mu Xue's phantom twisted and grinned, and the server-wide barrage reversed the avalanche. The God's Ring Iron Army is abusing tanks. The training is so fast, the snowball breaks through the 10,000 level all-god equipment, and Chen's duel preliminaries have begun. The system's server-wide announcement flashed, National War Preliminary Competition Duelist Mode. God of Rings Alliance Chen vs Mu Xue Guild Pioneer King, foreign server viewing debuff suspended. The camera on the high platform zoomed in. Chen's winged shadow swooped into the arena illusion, the dark god-slaying sword recharged and roared, and the opposite Mu Xue, the level 70 National War General of the Pioneer King, had a panel strength of 50,000 giant axe hunting, shouting sarcastically, Chen, you will die in the preliminaries. The Axe C National War Field suppresses your buff attenuation by 80%, and the whole server will see you kneeling. Chen mentally snorted. The first win in a single challenge shocked him, exposed Mu Xue's hiding place in the finals, and the cunning hook attracted all servers to join the alliance. He teleported thousands of miles and the sword river exploded, thousands of swords returned to his clan and the galaxy swallowed up the shadow of the axe. With one blow, the ashes flew into the air and the heat wave hit his nostrils. The system firecrackers sounded in the sky, first win in the preliminaries. Kill the National War General for the first time, and drop, Guild National War Order, Fusion Alliance recruitment plus 200%, experience 500,000 trillion times 2,000 is equal to 1 million trillion. Upgrade to level 1700. Snowball 15,000 times. Unlock, God-slaying domain, star absorbing for all servers. The afterimage of the Pioneer King trembled and opened its mouth slightly, level 1700. Invincible in attracting stars in the field, and ranks first in the server in terms of buff stacking and killing the gods. The alliance cheered crazily, and the recruit ID, preheating Eat Melon, knelt down and licked. The master defeated the god in a single battle for the first time. The equipment is 15,000 times the god-level snowball, the Iron Army is trained, and the national war is reversed. Mu Xue Tangyu pressed her body warmly against Chen, and smiled charmingly with her sweet lips. Husband/warrior, the harem is working together to buff. Lu Ting laughed and patted his shoulder, Brother Chen, Iron Triangle Kingdom battle god. But the golden announcement of the whole server system flashed, full server competition is officially started. In the finals, Mu Xue's hidden conspiracy emerged, the Void Demon finally made a sacrifice, and millions of reinforcements finally charged. The black clouds are getting thicker, the sound of killing is rolling like thunder, the tsunami is hitting the face, and the final area is faintly pulsating with red light. Black clouds poured down like ink, the red light in the final area pulsated like the beating of a heart, the bursting air buzzed, and the smell of blood and putrefaction mixed with rust hit the nostrils, choking the recruits on the high platform with burning throats and coughing blood. The afterglow of the System Gold announcement has not faded. The camera of the finals of the all-server competition zoomed in on the competitive illusion of the main city. The iron hooves of 1,000,000 reinforcements roared and shattered the earth's veins. The giant shield of the tank regiment defending 500,000 hit the high platform like a meteorite falling. Cracks spread for hundreds of feet and rubble rained down. The face hurts, the debuff, chains of dancing pythons, with 20 layers of blue light suppresses the snowball attenuation by 80%, the Alliance's 50,000 iron army's war spirit aura is distorted with golden light, the attack speed is plus 300%, the critical hit is 150%, the panel blushes and the HP is reduced by 15%. Mu Xue's real body finally appeared on the high stage of the finals. The leader of the level 70 national war has a panel strength of 80,000 giant axes. Behind him, the black shadow of the void demon is as huge as a mountain. It roars and twists, and the sound is metal tearing and harsh. Live broadcast across the server, Chen, the loser of the God of Rings alliance. The million-tank mage archer of the top 100 guilds in the server. Pressed together, the pulsation of your crown is attenuated by 90% in the realm of national war. The inner ghost explodes in the back row, and even the snowball is 15,000 times stronger than before. The contract with the void demon god is permanent, and the NPC uprising will attack the main city. Your harem sisters' HP red blood flying wings cannot save them. The red announcement flashed blood and tears, the final is on. Mu Xue Alliance's millions of reinforcements are pressing down on the territory, the void demon god's domain is fully open, and the debuff snowball is attenuated by 90%, and the main city is blocked. The new recruit, the cannon fodder in the finals, fell to the street with weak legs, his ID panel strength was only 10,000, and he was trembling like a sieve. He stared at the torrent of tanks with wide eyes, and his voice shook like a broken leaf in the wind. It's great to win the first one-on-one duel with a great master, but the tank defense against a sea of millions of people is 500,000 is coming, the debuff locks me and my attack speed is reduced by half, the inner ghost ID red light mixes in the back row and self-destructs. The iron army that has just been trained has an average level of 50 and is now scheduled to be wiped out. Controlled by the void demon of OSS, Mu Xue's contract cannot be solved. A passerby player's red letter avalanche in the live broadcast room, Mu Xue is awesome. He faked his death to summon the country to fight for the alliance, and even Chen's snowball 15,000 times full god armor couldn't withstand it, and the inner ghost broke out in the back row of mages. The collective evaporation, the high platform corpse mountain and the blood river built the wall, the stinking wind corroded the armor, the alliance recruits screamed and their legs weakened. Mu Xue's delicate body clung to Chen's arms, her purple eyes were solemn and almost collapsed, her plump breasts undulated violently, hot sweat soaked the magic robe, ice and fire. The aroma is tangy with the residual heat of anxiety. Husband, the finals are in a desperate situation. The phantom, ice, fire, punishment, and magic attack with 1.2 million cannot suppress the 20th level of the debuff field. The mage in the back row is dizzy and self-destructs. The relationship between the sisters is off the charts but the HP alert is 10%. Tang Yuehua's clothes were stained with blood like broken roses. Her jade hands tightly grasped Yi Chen's cloak and her fingertips were bone-chilling. Her charming voice was as fast and intermittent as tears. Warrior, the bodyguards broke through the phantom wings to suppress the flanks and collapsed, but the void demon finally sacrificed. Swallowed by red light, Mu Xue's contract exposed the final area, and the iron hooves of the foreign reinforcements shattered the bone marrow and became bloody. Lu Ting's sword screamed, and the blood on his silver armor turned to frost like tears. He hit the railing of the high platform hard, and his palms were numb and his voice was shattered like thunder. Chen brother, the iron triangle can't stand it. Jianhe's field control power of 12,000 can't break through the tank's defense of 500,000 people, and the Shadow Clone Scepter's magic counterattacks the inner ghost and explodes. The new recruits in the Alliance screamed in panic, and the guilds and the whole server were ridiculed like thousands of arrows piercing their hearts. The ID of the mole in the back row of the Alliance exploded, the mage tank self-destructed, the fireball chain, blue light splashed out, and the heat wave burned the face, the HP bar was cleared collectively and screamed to the sky, the recruit, Ghost Hunter, broke the sword energy and rushed to the street, the dog's eyes were filled with blood and roared, Ghost Hunter, hundreds of ghosts self-destructed. The back row was full of evaporation debuffs, and the torrent of tanks hit the high platform and cracked it. The high platform could no longer be defended, and even the great god Crown Pulse God could not save them all. Mo Fan smiled ferociously, and the twisted giant axe hit the ground and cracked hundreds of meters high. The void demon god's black shadow claws rushed towards him, stinking like a rotting corpse, and the whole server barrage boiled and taunted, Chen is finished. The contract boss field suppresses the snowball to 0, 1,000,000 reinforcements attack the main city, and all the revolutionary NPCs revolt. Despair is like a black tide submerging the high platform, the buzz of iron hooves is close at hand, the blood mist fills the field of vision, the average power of the Alliance panel plummets by 800, the snowball attenuates by 95%, the sound of recruits pushing each other off the cliff is shrill and piercing. Yi Chen's grin continued unabated, and the black gold wings of the dark god-slaying wings suddenly spread out in a heat wave, burning the sky and steaming into the sky. He teleported and swooped into the final high platform, and the crown's pulsating golden-black light curtain erupted like the sun falling. The dominator of the entire server domain, sublimation pulsation, counterpressure, the void demon god's debuff attenuation was cleared instantly, and the god-slaying domain, star-absorbing stars for the entire server was activated. The black hole vortex swallowed a sea of millions of reinforcements and tanks, and the soul-absorbing experience feedback increased 2,000 times. The snowball surged 20,000 times. Lightning flashed in his mind, Mo Fan's contract exposed the weakness, the Shadow Clone Scepter illusion buffed the entire team, the King's Crown pulsed to recruit more than 100,000 iron troops across the server, and the equipment was sweeping across the god-level god-slaying field. The dangerous ghosts have been eliminated, and the end of the strategy is, one ride can kill 1,000 PK gods, and the contract is broken to reverse the entire server. The whole army obeys the order. The star-absorbing field of the god-slaying is fully activated, the snowball is shared 20,000 times, and the inner ghost's debuff is instant kill. Yi Chen's voice is like a cold blade cutting through the black fog, the god-slaying blade taps the high platform, thousands of swords return to the clan, thousands of miles of galaxies erupt without CD, black gold sword rain pours down to cover the final area, tanks' shattered shields fly to dust and hot blood fountains hit the face like rain, the mage archer's panel evaporation system firecrackers collapse. AoE consecutive cuts x 500,000. Kill the main tank of Mo Fan Alliance for the first time, experience 50 trillion times 2000 times equals 1 million trillion. Upgrade to level 1750. Snowball 25,000 times. All attributes plus 8,000%. Strength 700,000 plus, attack and defense 200 million. Absorb stars and devour the realm of national war. Alliance players' eyes widened like copper bells, their ID, star-absorbing worship brother, opened their mouths into O-shaped legs and knelt down in a pool of blood, with a trembling voice as they worshipped, level 1750 god-slaying field star-absorbing skill. Power of 700,000 to crush a tank, defense 500,050 times, attack and defense 200 million immune debuffs fully activated, snowball 25,000 times, draining the outer boss field, a great god can conquer a sea of millions of people with a single ride. The recruit's dog eyes bulged, and the magic light of sword energy rekindled. The buzzing was piercing, despair has just been wiped out, and now the power of the panel has increased to 20,000 plus, and the star-absorbing buff shares the Iron Army's invincibility, which is so exciting. Mo Fan's face was ashen and the giant axe was shaking, and the black shadow of the void demon god roared and his eyes were bloodshot, level 1750. The star-absorbing shadow swallowed my domain, and the contract can't lock the snowball rolling infinitely. The barrage across the server reversed the avalanche. Chen slaughters the god PK is on. One ride is worth 1,000 seconds, the iron army of the god's ring is against the sky. Chen's winged shadow teleported thousands of miles straight towards Mu Fan, the dark god-slaying sword galaxy swallowed up the giant axe, and with one blow the ashes flew away and a heat wave hit his nostrils. The system's golden light shot into the sky, single target kills Mu Fan's clone X10 instantly, drops, contract fragments, experience 1 million trillion times 2000 is equal to 2 million trillion. Upgrade to level 1800. Snowball 30,000 times more. Unlock, God-slaying domain contract broken. Mu Fan's afterimage dog's mouth opened slightly and trembled, level 1800. The contract is broken and invincible, first in the server. Lu Ting laughed to hide his murderous intent, the heat wave of silver armor evaporated, the rebel commander's armor fused with the two swords to slay the dragon, and the sword river exploded 10,000 meters, sweeping the flank of the finals, facing off against Mu Fan's sword master clone with a power of 60,000 pairs of sword hunting. He took off with a flying combo and slashed the back of the neck. The sword energy was twisted by the hot wind field of view, duel of Ting Chen. Jinha field control chain counter control, strength 12,000 plus critical hit 200% to demonstrate the abuse of the sword master. The sword master's panel shattered into pieces and flew into ashes. The recruit, Jinha Fan's eyes bulged and his sword energy was first formed and he buzzed in the air. His hands trembled and shouted, "Brother Ting dual god. Learn the flying combo to double your strength." The sword master instantly kills the iron triangle and is invincible. The legend of the panel. Mu Xue's magic robe hunting purple eyes burned with flames, and her jade hand touched Chen's hot breath. She smiled sweetly, "Honey, look at Xue destroying the world." God's domain ice and fire heavenly punishment phantom version magic attack 1.2 million CD free 10,000 miles AoE fully open, shadow clone scepter fusion illusion sword stealth evaporate the sea of mage. A sea of blue and red light exploded. In the flash final area, the frozen and incinerated archers and tanks screamed in the aftermath and the heat wave distorted the air. The new mage ID, Ice and Fire Fanatic Girl, stared round and beautiful, and the magic robe was wet with sweat and fragrance. Her voice was charming and trembling, "Sister Xue destroys the world. Learn 500,000 magic attacks, dodge chains thousands of miles, AoE, serve the whole group in seconds, buff Snow the 30,000 times harem queen." Tang Yu summoned her bodyguards to break through the phantom cavalry. The shadows of their hooves unfolded and the ghostly roars rolled in. She warmly pressed her shoulders against Mu Xue's sisters and smiled charmingly, "Sisters, I am reversing the NPC army. Self-destruction. The loyal bodyguard buff plus 200% kills the gods." The NPC rebels turned to the battlefield, and the new cavalry, phantom iron powder, trembled with iron hoofs, and the dog's eyes were bloodshot and roared. The princess turned around and attacked the outer armor, the iron army snowball rolled infinitely, and the alliance was formed with 100,000. The climax of the decisive battle is burning, the sword river on the high platform is intertwined with ice and fire, iron hooves are buzzing, heat waves are scorching, the sky is pungent, and blood is filling the air. The alliance panel is broadcast live across all servers, average level break 70, strength 30,000 plus magic attack 1 million, fighting spirit aura attack speed plus 400%, critical hit 200%, snowball breaks 40,000 times. The end of the game in Chen's mind, the contract fragments merged with the god-slaying domain, the dark god-slaying sword's evolutionary output plus 6,000%, the palace cloak defense 300 million immunity 99%, the crown's full server pulsation suppressed the void gate. Mu Fan's true body roared and sacrificed the inner ghost with a burst of red light, and the final form of the void demon god's claw shadow through the sky with a power of 200,000. The panel twist, the contract is permanent. Millions of reinforcements attack the main city, and the uprising begins. The source of the NPC revolution is exposed, and the heart of the main city is sacrificed. The whole server's audience went crazy. Contract boss is the ultimate. Chen can't stand it. But Chen smiled fiercely and teleported to the god-slaying domain. The contract was fully broken, and the black gold light beam penetrated the void demon god's contract chain. The metal broke and the sound was loud. The boss's black shadow wailed and collapsed. Firecrackers in the sky, first kill of the void demon god's contract core. The contract was broken successfully, all Mu Fan Alliance debuffs were cleared, and the source of uprising key was dropped, with experience of 5 million trillion times 2000 is equal to 10 million trillion. Upgrade to level 1900. Snowball 50,000 times more. All attributes plus 10,000%. Strength 1 million plus, attack and defense 500 million. Unlock, full server eternal legend God-slaying emperor. Mu Fan's dog eyes protruded and the giant axe fell to the ground in a pool of blood. His voice was trembling and broken, level 1900. The contract is broken with one blow. 1 million times the power to crush me 12 times. Snowball 50,000 times. The eternal legend. The king of all servers. The demon god of the void. The stench of the remains of the body dissipated, and the whole server audience was excited with the barrage of gold rain. Chen slaughtered the god emperor. One ride can kill 1,000 PKs and kill millions. The contract is shattered and defying the sky. The numerical panel is an eternal myth, and the iron triangle harem is invincible. Recruit, eternal fanhead, kneeling down and licking blood, he yelled, the trump card of the great god is shocking. I have just suppressed it to despair and now the snowball is 50,000 times that of the whole god's domain. It is so exciting. The whole server worships me. Mu Xue Tang Yu's delicate body is warmly pressed against Yi Chen's plump and undulating fragrant lips, and she is whispering into her ear, husband/warrior, legend of the emperor said the harem will always follow. Lu Ting laughed and slapped his shoulder. The silver armor buzzed, brother Chen, the iron triangle god slaughter is #1 in the server. The alliance cheered loudly, and the golden light on the panel shot into the sky, but the system red announcement suddenly flashed with blood. The ultimate rebel army attacks the main city. The source of the uprising NPCs revolutionary source awakens, the heart of the main city pulses with red light, and Chen faces the end. The black cloud split open, the endless iron hooves and the tsunami became more intense, the ancient gods faintly roared like thunder, and the bloody wind rushed towards the face with murderous intent. The heart of the main city pulsated with red light like blood, and the heart beat wildly. The bursting earth veins buzzed and hummed so hard that the teeth of the recruits on the high platform chattered. The bloody wind mixed with the stench of rotting corpses hit their faces, choking them and making their throats burn like rust. They coughed out bloodshot threads of rust. The ultimate rebel iron hoof tsunami is like a galloping beast, the source of the NPC revolution awakens, 1,000,000 foreign reinforcements tank defense 600,000 giant shields hit the city wall like a meteorite rain. The cracks are winding thousands of feet, the rubble is like a razor blade scratching the face, causing pain. The blue light of the debuff chain is stacked with 30 layers to suppress the snowball, which is attenuated by 99%, the golden glow of the Alliance's Iron Army's war spirit. Aura is twisted and broken, the attack speed plummets by 500%, and the critical hit returns to 0. Panel collectively loses HP by 20%. Mu Fan's real body knelt and got up from a pool of blood, his giant axe trembled like a candle in the wind, his face was livid and twisted, his eyes were bloodshot, and his voice was as harsh as metal friction. Live broadcast to the whole server, Chen slaughters the god emperor. So what if the contract is broken 50,000 times the snowball? The heart of the main city, the source of the uprising, is sacrificed, the ancient gods roared for a general attack. NPC generals integrated hundreds of thousands of cavalry into the outer world boss field, millions of players rebelled against the inner ghosts, and the sea of tanks flooded your god's ring alliance with corpses and rivers of blood to build walls. The red announcement flashed with blood and tears, the ultimate rebel army attacks the heart of the main city. The ancient god pulse debuff snowball returns to 0, the source of the NPC revolution awakens, and the entire alliance is scheduled to be wiped out. The new recruit, city wall cannon fodder, threw himself on the street with weak legs. His ID panel strength was only 20,000 and shook like a fallen leaf. He stared at the torrent of iron hooves with his eyes wide open and his voice cracked like a cry. The legend of the Emperor has just changed. Now the heart of the main city is swallowed by red light. The ancient god roars and the debuff is stacked. The attack speed returns to 0. The inner ghost self-destructs and the back row evaporates. The tank defense of 600,000 hits the city wall and cracks. The Alliance's 100,000 iron army is also kneeling at an average level of 70. Hi. The red text in the passerby player's live broadcast room collapsed. Mo fan counterattacked awesomely. Chen's snowball 50,000 times full god outfit can't stand it. The NPC general instigated a rebellion. The blood mist on the high platform was pungent, and the recruits screamed and pushed each other into a pile of corpses. Mu Xue's delicate body trembled and her purple eyes were on the verge of collapse. The main city is in a desperate situation. The 1.2 million ice and fire demonic attack can't suppress the 40th level of the ancient god's debuff. The back row mage is stunned and explodes with red light, and the sister's HP red blood alert is 5%. 100,000 cavalry turned against him, and Mo Fan's conspiracy was revealed, but he was unable to reverse it. Lu Ting's sword screamed, and his fists cracked with thunder. Brother Chen, the iron triangle can't stand it. The Jinha field control force of 12,000 can't break the tank's defense of 600,000, and the shadow clone illusion counterattacks and explodes. The Alliance recruits screamed in panic, and the whole server was ridiculed like a knife. The ID of the ghost in the back row of the Alliance exploded like a volcano. The mage tank archer exploded his fireball chain, splashing blue and red, and the heat wave burned his face. The HP bar collectively evaporated and his screams were loud and ear-piercing. The recruit, Ghost Buster's sword energy broke and he fell on the street. The dog's eyes were bloodshot. Roar, thousands of inner ghosts have self-destructed. The back row has been completely wiped out with 50 layers of debuffs. The torrent of tanks hit the main city wall and cracked. The ancient god roared and the blood wind corroded the armor. We can't hold on anymore. Even the Emperor's crown pulsating god can't save them all. Mo Fan crawled with a grin. The huge axe hit the ground and cracks shot up thousands of feet. The ancient god's black shadow claws hit the sky and the stench was like 10,000 rotting corpses. The barrage across the server boiled and taunted. Chen is finished. The ancient god's pulse suppressed the snowball and returned to 0. Millions of rebels attacked the heart of the main city. The source of the NPC revolution. There is no solution. The black tide of despair flooded the city wall. The buzzing of iron hooves could be heard close at hand. The blood mist filled the vision and the vision was red and blurred. The average strength of the Alliance panel plummeted by 10,000, the snowball attenuated by 100%, and the sound of recruits pushing each other off the cliff was as shrill as a ghost crying like a wolf. Chen smiled ferociously like a demon king awakening. The dark god-slaying wings burst into flames with a heat wave steaming into the sky. He teleported and swooped down into the heart of the main city. The crown pulsating golden and black light curtain erupted like a black hole swallowing the sun. The domain master of the whole server, Eternal Legend Sublimation Pulsation Counterpressure Ancient God debuff was instantly cleared. The domain of the slaying god, star absorbing for the whole server plus contract breaking dual open. The black hole vortex swallowed up a sea of millions of rebel tanks, and the soul-absorbing experience feedback increased by 5,000 times, and the snowball surged by 100,000 times. He played a lightning game in his mind. The source key of the uprising merged with the heart of the main city. King's Crown Pulse recruited more than 1 million iron troops across the entire server, and equipped the god's domain god-slaying suit to sweep across the ancient god's pulse. The endgame, Alliance assembly buffs are superimposed infinitely, and one ride can kill 1,000 PK gods across the entire server. The whole army listens to the order. The Crown Pulse recruits all servers, the star-absorbing contract in the god-slaying domain is fully opened, the snowball share is 100,000 times, the inner ghost kills the NPC general in an instant. Chen's voice was like the roar of thunder cutting through the blood mist, and the dark god-slaying sword tapped the city wall. 10,000 swords return to the sect galaxy evolution thousands of miles and no CD erupts, the black gold sword rain pours down covering the main city, the tanks shatter shields fly to gray and the hot blood fountain hits the face like a torrential rain, the mage archer panel evaporation system golden light firecrackers collapse, AoE consecutive kills x 1 million. The first kill of the rebel tank main force plus the entire group of moles, experience 100 trillion times 5,000 times equals 5 million trillion. Upgrade to level 2000. Snowball 150,000 times. All attributes plus 15,000%. Strength 1.5 million plus, attack and defense 1 billion. The star-absorbing ancient god pulsates. Unlock, heart of the main city, eternal empire. Alliance players' eyes widened like dead fish, their IDs, star-absorbing emperor powder, mouths were O-shaped, their legs were weak and they were kneeling in a pool of blood. They worshipped with trembling thunderous voices, level 2000 eternal empire star-absorbing magic. Power of 1.5 million can crush a tank with a defense of 600,025 times. The attack and defense 1 billion immunity debuffs are fully activated, and the snowball is sucked up by 150,000 times the pulse of the ancient god. The great god can kill thousands of millions of rebels with one ride. The recruit's copper bell eyes protruded, and the sword energy and magic light rekindled and buzzed in the air. Despair has just been wiped out, now. The power on the panel skyrocketed to 50,000 plus, the star-absorbing buff was shared and the Iron Army was invincible, and Crown Pulse recruited millions of players across the server. It was so exciting. Mo Fan's face turned pale as the giant axe fell to the ground, his dog's eyes bulged, trembled and shattered. Level 2000. My ancient god is pulsing, and the snowball is rolling endlessly. Is the plot peeling off? The barrage of the whole server is boiling. Chen is the eternal emperor. The alliance's millions of buffs are superimposed on the rebels, and the source of the revolution is kneeling. The city wall instantly transformed into an iron wall. Lu Ting's silver armor steamed with heat and laughed to cover up his murderous intent. The rebel commander armor fused his two swords to slay the dragon and exploded into the sword river. The 10,000-meter sword wall built the sky. He took off with a flying combo and slashed the back of the sea of tanks. The sword energy was distorted by the hot wind. His vision buzzed. Shen defends the city. Jinha field control chain counter control plus flying combo imparts power to the entire army. Strength 12,000 plus critical hits. 300% demonstration of torturing the rebel general. The sword master's clone panel shattered and splattered with gray and hot blood. The new swordsman, sword wall Iron Fan's eyes were bloodshot and his sword energy was blazing. His hands were trembling and he yelled, Brother Ting's sword wall magic skill has tripled the power. The rebel general instantly killed the Iron Triangle and expanded his army. The panel is invincible in close combat with the legendary magic robe. Purple eyes burned the sky, and her jade hand touched Chen's warm breath, which hit her nostrils, and she smiled sweetly at the end. Honey, look at Xue's barrier protecting her body and destroying the world. God's domain of ice and fire, Heaven's punishment Phantom Edition demonic attack 1.2 million CD free 10,000 miles AoE plus Shadow Clone Scepter fuses the entire army. The illusion stealth barrier is immune to the ancient god's pulsation and evaporates the rebel tide. The sea of blue and red light exploded in the main city, frozen and incinerated. The tank archer screamed in the aftermath, the ear-splitting heat wave distorted the air and the rancid dissipation. The new mage, Snow's sister fan of the enchantment, opened her beautiful eyes and the magic robe was wet with sweat and scented her nostrils. Her voice trembled and roared, Sister Xue, the god of enchantment. Learn 800,000 magic attacks, dodge debuffs thousands of miles away, AoE in seconds, and the entire tide of the outside world, buff snowballs 150,000 times, the harem god queen's body protection is invincible. Tang Yu's hunting blood evaporated like a newborn rose, and she summoned her bodyguards to break through 100,000 phantom cavalry. The winged shadows spread out with the sound of hooves, ghostly whispers, and the blood shadows rolled in. Her fragrant shoulders warmly pressed against Sister Mu Xue's charming smile, and they worked together to instigate rebellion. Sisters, I am exposing the weaknesses of the NPC generals. The key to the source of the uprising reverses the source of the revolution. The flying guards attack the loyalty buff plus 500% to kill the gods, and the ancient god's pulsating sacrifice peels off Mu Fan's conspiracy. The NPC general's 100,000 cavalry turned into ashes, and the new cavalry, Phantom, was involved. Princess Fan's, the iron hooves trembled and the dog's eyes became bloodshot and roared. Princess rebelled against the gods. The NPC generals turned against the rebels and attacked the rebels. The Iron Army snowball rolled infinitely 200,000 times, and the alliance became the first in the entire server with 1,000,000 formations. High platform sword wall ice and fire enchantment phantom iron cavalry cross the buzzing heat wave scorches the air, the pungent blood mist evaporates, and the alliance panel live broadcast is visualized across the server. Average level breaks 100, strength 100,000 plus magic attack 2,000,000, fighting spirit aura attack speed plus 600%, critical hit 300%, snowball breaks 250,000 times. The crown pulsated with golden light rising into the sky, and players across the server gathered together and their IDs flashed like a sea of stars. The Emperor is recruiting. Snowballs are sharing to join the God of Rings alliance, and the rebel wave will kill instantly. Mu Fan finally counterattacked and roared in sacrifice. The ancient god pulsed with red light and swallowed the heart of the main city. His giant axe roared with a ferocious smile and had a power of 200,000. The panel was twisted and the dog's mouth was twisted, so what if the conspiracy is stripped away? The source of the NPC revolution is permanent. Millions of rebels merged with the ancient god's claw shadow to attack. Emperor Snowball also knelt down to sacrifice himself. Explode! But Chen teleported and the black gold light beam penetrated, the god-slaying domain contract broken plus the source of uprising key was fully opened, the sound of broken chains and broken metal was as harsh as the sound of thousands of swords, the ancient god's black shadow wailed and collapsed, the heat wave hit the system, and the sky sounding golden firecrackers. First kill of the ancient god's pulsating core plus Mu Fan's true body. The source is broken successfully, all the rebel debuffs are cleared, and the ultimate revolution key is dropped, with experience of 10,000,000 times 5,000 is equal to 50,000,000. Upgrade to level 2,200. Snowball 300,000 times more. All attributes plus 20,000%. Strength 2,000,000 plus, attack and defense 2,000,000,000. Unlock, server-wide overlord, invincible empire. Mu Fan's dog eyes protruded and the giant axe evaporated, and he knelt down in a pool of blood. His voice trembled in despair and shattered like broken glass, level 2200. The ancient god was destroyed with one blow. The power of 2,000,000 crushed me 10 times. The snowball was 300,000 times the invincible overlord. The conspiracy was completely peeled off. I regret it. The king of all servers spared his life. The stench of the rebel tide dissipated, and the audience in the whole server barraged and worshipped like crazy. Chen is the invincible overlord. The millions of alliance buffs are superimposed on the rebel tide, the ancient gods are shattered, and the numerical myth is eternal, and the iron triangle harem rules the entire server. The new recruit, the overlord, kneels down and licks his head, kneels down in a pool of blood and roars like thunder. The master's trump card is the ultimate shock. I just suppressed despair and wiped out everything. Now the snowball is 300,000 times the main city's eternity. The rebels are building an empire with mountains of corpses and rivers of blood. It's so exciting that my soul is flying. It's the best in all servers. Congratulations. Mu Xue Tang Yu's delicate body pressed against Yi Chen's plump and fragrant lips, panting like silk. Husband/warrior, the overlord will always have an invincible harem, and the sisters' buffs will show their hearts. Lu Ting laughed and patted his silver armor on the shoulder. The buzz shook the sky. Brother Chen, the Iron Triangle God Slaughter is the #1 overlord in the whole server. Millions of cheers in the alliance were like a tsunami. The golden light on the panel broke through the sky visually, and the bloody wind turned fresh and fragrant. However, the cracks in the void broke out and the ultimate form of the ancient boss, ancient god in the outer land, roared like thunder. The claw shadow hit the sky and the red light pulsed with murderous intent. Emperor's authority. The outer land has come to challenge your ultimate hegemony. The black clouds reunited and the iron hooves disappeared, and the tsunami buzzed more intensely. The cracks in the void slowly opened and closed like the bloody mouth of a giant beast. The red light pulsed and the low-frequency hum shook the heart of the main city. Stone chips fell rustlingly from the high platform. The faint sound of iron hoofs and tsunamis rolled in the distance like muffled thunder. The afterglow of the blood mist was mixed with the aroma of burnt earth and burned into the nostrils. The leg of the new recruit player half kneeling in a pool of blood, the gold edge of the ID panel flashes, the average strength exceeds 100,000, the aura of fighting spirit is as warm as the spring breeze, the black tide of despair just now turns into a mountain of corpses and a river of blood to build a new wall of the empire. There is still a lingering fear in their copper bell eyes, but it has turned into fanaticism. Worshipping, the voice was hoarse and trembling, and they shouted, "The Emperor is invincible." Snowball's 300,000 times buff is shared, Gongu God Pulse suppresses the total destruction debuff 50 layers, now the attack and defense are 2 billion, immune to everything, the Alliance's Million Iron Army panel is legendary, so cool to the bone and soul. The passers-by poured out an avalanche of golden barrage, Yi Chen's overlord myth. The first kill of Mo Fan's true body plus the core of the ancient god, the ultimate key to the revolution is obtained, the source of the NPC uprising is reversed and the first guild in the server is formed. Who dares to rebel? Yi Chen's dark god-slaying wings folded in the black gold wings and trembled with heat waves, leaving the remaining warmth in the sky. The king's crown pulsated with a golden black halo that gently enveloped the main city. The god-slaying domain server-wide star-absorbing low voice was as steady as a heartbeat. The golden firecrackers in his brain system flashed, the invincible empire unlocked. The ultimate key of the revolution plus the source of the uprising key are fused, and the outer domain void gate key is dropped. The upper limit of pulsating recruitment in the whole server exceeds 2 million, the snowball buff is permanently shared plus alliance loyalty plus 1000%, and the experience feedback accelerates the upgrade by 60 times. The power of 2 million plus panel is visualized soaring to the sky, the attack and defense of 2 billion gold edges are shining, the palace guardian cloak and the hunting god realm slaying god suit hum and groan, the dark god slaying sword touches the blood pool, Mo Fan's body flies away, the fragments of the giant axe turn into black light and are sucked into the sword body, the sword spirit roars and evolves. Thousands of swords return to the clan Galaxy Ultimate, thousands of miles without CD. Output plus 7,000%, the ancient god pulses, fusion of essences. The recruit, Imperial Fanhead, has round eyes and an O-shaped mouth, his legs are weak and bloodshot is covered in the panel, and his voice is trembling like thunder, the great god has gained a heaven-defying harvest. Snowball has shared our strength 300,000 times plus 100,000 times and went straight to the legend. Now the Empire buff stack is full, the equipment has been upgraded to 1 level, and the whole server is awesome. Mu Xue's magic robe is moist, hot sweat evaporates, and the fragrance of ice and fire blooms like an orchid. The water mist in her purple eyes turns into charming flames. Her plump breasts are pressed against Yi Chen's arm. Her jade hand touches the crown and pulses. Her charming voice is as silky as her breath hits her nostrils. Husband, Xue's phantom version of ice and fire's punishment has increased her magic attack by 1.5 million. Shadow clones and scepters are taught to the whole army to protect the body. Just the buff suppresses HP by 5% and is on the verge of collapse. Now the buff snowball is on the table and the harem will follow forever. The sisters work together to rule the divine realm. Tang Yuehua's blood stains are like the fragrance of roses. She stares at Chen with her charming eyes and leans on Mu Xue's shoulders. The hooves of the bodyguard phantom cavalry whisper and the ghosts circle the high platform. She taps the golden light of the ultimate key to revolution with her jade finger. Internal scroll, warrior, all the NPC generals who instigated rebellion in this palace have defected. The source of the uprising has been reversed. Loyalty buff plus 800%. The personal guards have broken through the attack of 150,000 flying sky. The revolutionary conspiracies have been stripped of power. Now the empire is reborn. The harem buffs are superimposed infinitely. Lu Ting's silver armor blood beads evaporated and he laughed loudly and patted Chen on the shoulder, making the air buzz. The two swords slaying the dragon whispered and the aftermath of the sword river twisted in the hot wind. Brother Chen, the iron triangle slays the gods. The rebel commander's armor is integrated with the sword set of the divine domain, with a power of 15,000 plus flying sky combo to teach the whole army close combat. The sword master's clone controls the field invincibly. The torrent of iron hooves overwhelms the current alliance with millions of sword walls building up the sky, and the harem of my buddies is the hegemony of the whole server. The gold announcements in the whole server system flashed like fireworks, and the red announcements were as the rebel general offensive collapsed. Chen, the leader of the God of Rings alliance, has achieved, invincible imperial overlord. Snowball's 300,000 times buff is shared, the first kill of the ancient god's pulse core plus Mo fan's true body, the source of the revolution is reversed, and the alliance ranks first in the server with more than 1 million iron troops. Player experience in all servers is plus 10%, equipment durability is restored by 100%, and the void gate in the outer world opens for challenge. The high platform in the heart of the main city cheered like a tsunami. The blood-soaked recruits pushed each other and stood up with IDs flashing in gold. The average level of the panel exceeded 150, power 150,000, magic attack 2.5 million, fighting spirit aura, attack speed plus 700%, critical hit 400%, their sword energy and magic light were buzzing in the sky, and passers-by players swarmed the teleportation array with red light bursting, Emperor recruitment. Snowball joins the God Ring Alliance, buffs are superimposed and instantly kills everything, and the NPCs rise up and lick the whole server in admiration. The audience in the live broadcast room has their eyes bulging and the barrage is crazy. Chen is famous as the king of the whole server, the treasures flow into the Empire's treasury, the trivial ghosts are eliminated with one click, the Alliance training camp is automated, and the feeling is full of eternal myths. Chen glanced at the pulsing red light in the cracks in the void with a grin. The ancient gods from the outer world roared and the murderous intent slowly surged in like a tide. The black clouds reunited and the iron hoof tsunami faintly approached. He was playing a lightning game in his mind, the fusion of the void door key in the outer world, leading a team to break into the alien world and the experience of the monsters, the snowball rolling to the god level, the iron triangle harem working together to defeat the defensive boss, and the alliance assisting the hot-blooded slaying of the gods. The whole army is resting. The snowball buff training camp is open, the average level is 300, and the remnants of the trivial revolution will be wiped out in one fell swoop. The iron triangle followed me into the void gate of the outer world, slaying the ultimate true form of the ancient god, and the first kill dropped the all-server artifact. The sound of thunder cut through the blood mist, and the whole server pulsated with the golden light of the crown rising into the sky. Millions of Alliance iron troops knelt down and roared like thunder. The Emperor is invincible. The Alliance of Divine Rings assists at any time, and the snowballs share the following. The new recruit, assist hot-blooded fan, panel was full of blood and sword energy, and his voice was frantic and broken, the great god breaks into the other world. Our training camp buffs are superimposed to defend the main city, and the assists are broadcast live. The aftermath is to celebrate that now a new battle has begun, and the Empire's status is permanent. The golden and black light of the key to the void door flashed, the space on the high platform in the heart of the main city twisted and the heat wave hit the nostrils like a furnace, Chen teleported to lead the dark god-slaying wings and blasted thousands of miles without a CD. Mu Xue Tang Yu's delicate body was hot against Lu Ting's silver armor and buzzed. The four-person iron triangle harem suddenly entered an alien world filled with red mist, and the tide of monsters in the outside world buzzed like a sea of insects. Rushing forward, the tank-type ancient god servants defended 800,000 HP and were at level 1 million. The ID's red debuff chain was first stacked with blue light. The stench of rotting corpses mixed with sulfur pungently choked the throat. The new recruits assist live broadcast was full of barrage predictions. The alien monsters defended 800,000 HP and overwhelmed the Emperor's snowball. Thousands of servants of the ancient god the buff is stacked 10 times, and the iron triangle cannot withstand the plan of total destruction. Mu Xue's purple eyes trembled slightly as she hunted for the scent of hot sweat in the magic robe. Her voice was breathy and intermittent. Husband, the red mist of the outer world corrodes the armor, the servant's power is 300,000, and the impact buzzes. Although the mob has a lot of experience, the debuff snowball is attenuated by 20%. Sisters, HP alert. Tang Yume murmured as the bodyguard's phantom wings spread out and made a ghostly sound. Warrior, the weakness of the servants of the ancient god is exposed, and the revolutionary aftermath debuff suppresses the flanks. Lu Ting punched heat wave with both swords. Brother Chen, Jinha controls the field first, and the Feiqian combo is used to break the defense. Chen laughed ferociously, fully opened the god-slaying domain, and the star-absorbing contract was shattered with double pulses. The black hole vortex roared and swallowed the tide of small monsters. Thousands of servants were instantly killed and turned to dust. Hot blood fountains rained down. The system's gold firecrackers exploded continuously. Kill the ancient god servants x 1000 in a row. Experience 500 trillion times 6000 times equals 30 million trillion. Upgrade to level 2300. Snowball 350,000 times. All attributes plus 25,000%. Strength 2.5 million plus, attack and defense 2.5 billion. Unlock, Alien Killer God, Pulse Reversal. The mob panel evaporated, chains shattered, the metal broke, and the sound was harsh. The ancient god servants screamed in the back row, and the heat wave twisted the air. The recruits assisted the live broadcast, and the dog's eyes protruded and his legs softened. He knelt on the screen, level 2300 alien slaying god. The snowball 350,000 times kills the mobs in seconds, the strength is 2.5 million, and the defense is 800,000, and the defense is 30 times, and the attack and defense are 2.5 billion. Immune to the red mist debuff, the Emperor's experience as a rider is soaring to the next level, which is awesome. The average level of the Alliance training camp has skyrocketed to 200, and the strength is 200,000. The tsunami of cheers, the Emperor's buff is shared. After the monsters are killed in a row, we upgrade like crazy, and the assists are full. The iron triangle pushed into the depths of the red mist, and the ancient servant of the god of Outland boss emerged from the head. The giant claw's red light pulsated with power of 500,000 and magic resistance of 400,000. The debuff chain stacked 20 times and suppressed the attack speed plummeting by 300%. The black cloud roared and the stench was like 10,000 corpses rotting in the face. The live barrage reversed the predicted collapse. The boss servant leader's debuff is suppressed by the snowball. Although the iron triangle buff is strong, it cannot withstand the claw shadow AoE and is completely destroyed. Mu Xue's enchanted blue and red sea of light exploded with ice and fire, and the phantom version of the sky punishment had a magic attack of 1.5 million CD less thousands of miles of AoE. The aftermath of the frost and incineration of the servants' flanks burned the sky. Husband, Xue's body protection amplified move. Tang Yu's bodyguard 150,000 flying phantom cavalry, the sound of hooves, the ghosts incited the servant's weakness, sisters work together, loyalty buff plus 900% to kill the god. Buzzing, the clone of the thunder god sword master controls the field, and the melee combat teaching assists the entire army. Yi Chen's dark god-slaying sword hits the ground and the galaxy of 10,000 swords returns to the clan finally erupts thousands of miles away. The rain of black gold swords covers the boss field, absorbing stars and devouring claw shadows with red light, and the contract is broken and the chains are shattered and ear-piercing. First kill of the leader of the ancient god servant. Experience 10 million times 6,000 is equal to 60 million. Upgrade to level 2500. Snowball 400,000 times. Strength 3 million plus, attack and defense 3 billion. The defense was successfully broken, and the true form of the outer domain boss awakened. The boss servant leader's blood evaporated and the stench dissipated. The assist player panels of the entire server alliance went crazy. The passerby, alien assist king, roared like thunder. The Iron Triangle harem combined magical skills. Mu Xue ice and fire barrier, Princess Phantom instigated rebellion, Ting Gu Jinha controlled the field, the great god galaxy finally broke the defense, snowball 400,000 times shared our magic attack 3 million, the hot-blooded interactive empire is invincible. Deep in the red mist, the ultimate true form of the ancient god slowly awakened. Giant eyes, red light, flashing claws, fluttering into the sky, pulsating murderous intent boiling like a volcano, tsunami, iron hooves buzzing close at hand, roaring, shaking the sky, cutting through the void, emperor, the final battle, the moment of the god-slaying battle has arrived. The black clouds overwhelmed the debuff and the snowball initially pressed down, and the live barrage boiled with fear and blood, the true form of the boss has awakened. Yi Chen's 2500 level full god outfit fights against him. With the assistance of the Iron Triangle Harem Alliance, the decisive battle begins and the whole server is boiling. The depths of the red mist are churning like a sea of blood. The giant body of the ancient god's ultimate true body slowly stands up. His body is pulsing with red light like the roar of volcanic lava. The giant eye's blood light bursts and cuts through the void. Cracks are ear-piercing. The shadow of claws flutters into the sky. The black clouds crush the iron hooves and the tsunami roars, shaking the space to pieces. The stench of rotting corpses and sulfur mixed with heat waves hits your nostrils like thousands of corpses burning. The initial stack of 50 layers of debuff chain blue and black light C suppresses the attack speed plummeting by 500%, the HP deducts 1 billion per second, and the snowball buff attenuates 30% of the global pulsating back pressure. The live barrage avalanche screamed in fear, the ultimate form of the ancient god's true form. The power is 5 million, the magic resistance is 4 million, and the debuff snowball suppresses the iron triangle and is scheduled to be wiped out. Even Yi Chen's 2500 level all-god outfit can't withstand the claw shadows AoE in seconds. The alien world invades the entire server and the GG Empire collapses. A passerby assists the player. The heart of the player's main city training camp panel is red with an alarm. Ring, with an average strength of 200,000, he fell to the ground with weak legs and fell to the ground with bloodshot eyes. His voice was hoarse and broken, and he shouted in despair, "Emperor." The debuff chain is crushing the snowball, our HP is 1%, the training camp buff is invalid, the ancient god's iron hoof tsunami is approaching the main city, just a hot-blooded assist, and now the black tide is desperate, the alliance's 2 million iron troops are kneeling in a pool of blood and waiting to die. Mu Xue's magic robe is soaked with hot sweat, the scent of ice and fire is intermittent, her purple eyes are filled with mist, panic is fleeting, her plump breasts are trembling, and the sea of blue and red light is crumbling. She clenches the shadow clone staff in her jade hand, and her magic attack plummets from 1.5 million to 800,000. She gasps with a trembling cry, "Husband," the real body's pulsating debuff stacks 80 layers, Schwer's ice and fire heavenly punishment illusion shadow version CD lock Wanli AoE invalid, HP alert 5% red mist corrodes the armor, the sisters can't withstand the shadow of the claws hitting the sky, Tang Yuehua's clothes are stained with blood, the fragrance of roses is mixed with sulfur, choking her throat, her charming eyes are gazing eagerly, but the desperate phantom cavalry bodyguards, 150,000 ghosts, are circling, the sound of hoofs is weak, and the loyalty buff plus 900% is weakened. The reduced flank collapsed, and she leaned against Mu Xue with her fragrant shoulders and whispered tremblingly, "Warrior, the weakness of the ancient god's true body hides the pulsating core, the source of the revolution is reversed, the debuff is ineffective, the debuff suppresses the flying pincer attack and collapses, the HP of my personal guard is 10%, and the iron hoof bites back." Lu Ting's silver armor, blood beads, frost, heat wave, twisting, double swords, dragon slaying, low voice, power 15,000 falling straight down 3,000, Jinha controlled the field and shattered. The flying combo took off and buzzed to the ground. He punched heat wave and his laughter turned to gritted teeth, "Brother Chen." The Juggernaut clone's debuff chain field control failed, the ancient god's claw shadow hot wind slashed all melee combat, and the iron triangle harem is full of danger. Just buff snowball 400,000 times and now suppress the avalanche. Yi Chen's dark god-slaying wings, the black gold wings quivering, the remaining heat evaporating from the heat wave, the king's crown's gold-black halo pulsating against the pressure but swallowed by the red light of the giant eye, god-slaying domain, full server, star-absorbing roar, devouring chains, power 3 million, panel visualization, red edge flashing, attack and defense, 3 billion bucks. Dark God-slaying Jian 10,000 swords returns to the sect galaxy's ultimate 1,000 miles charge. CD is locked. He glances at the lightning game in his mind with a ferocious smile as his giant claws flutter into the sky. The golden black light of the void door key in the outer realm flashes and merges with the god slaughter of the other world. Pulsating reversal and charge. The system warns of red light firecrackers flashing, 100 levels of the ancient god's true body debuff. The snowball is attenuated by 50%, all attributes are -70%, and the survival rate in the final battle is 1%. The audience in the live broadcast room had their dog eyes protruding and the barrage collapsed. The Emperor's panel is red. The pulse of the real body suppresses the avalanche of buffs from the invincible empire, the Iron Triangle's HP is 1% and the countdown is complete, the debuffs of the All-Server Alliance training camp are shared on the knees, and Yi Chen's myth ends the alien GG. Recruit, desperate assist fan, half kneeling in a pool of blood in the main city, his ID was shattered, his voice trembled, his worship turned to despair, great God. I have just advanced to another world, and now the claw shadow tsunami is overwhelming. We have 50,000 debuffs, stacked equipment, and self-destruction, and the new empire collapses instantly. The giant claws pulsed with red light and blasted down heat waves like meteorites hitting the ground. Stone chips evaporated and pungent. Blood mist evaporated and pungent. Chains of blue and black light seas exploded across the entire area. The AoE cut through the void and buzzed. The silhouettes of the Iron Triangle harem were blurred and their HP was reset to 0. Mu Xue's barrier shattered into fragments of ice and fire, the hot wind twisted and screamed, the hoofbeats of Tang Yu's phantom cavalry disintegrated intermittently, and the aftermath of Lu Ting's sword river poured into the street with a fountain of hot blood. At the moment when the black tide of despair was swallowing up, Yi Chen laughed fiercely and the sky thunder cut through the red mist, pulse reversal. All servers absorb stars, the empire is eternal. The king's crown's golden black light surged into the sky and pulsated to counterpress the ancient god's giant eye, the dark god-slaying wings blasted thousands of miles without CD, teleported black hole whirlpool swallowed the claw shadow, the alien god-slaying, pulse reversal gold and black runes flashed debuff, the chain shattered all over the area, the sound of metal breaking was like a thunder film. The system's golden firecrackers blasted, pulse reversal activated. The ancient god's debuffs are all cleared plus 200 layers of backlash. The snowball surged 500,000 times. Strength 5 million plus, attack and defense 5 billion. Unlock, ultimate god-slaying god's domain eternity. All server alliance buff sharing reversal. The red mist evaporates, the heat wave cools in an instant, the ancient god's true form's giant eyes are dimmed with blood, his low roar shakes the sky and twists in pain, the black clouds collapse, the iron hoofs and the tsunami turn around and fly away. The live broadcast barrage reversed the avalanche and excited the blood. Chen is against the sky. The pulsating reversal debuff counterattacked the ancient god's snowball 500,000 times, which exploded. The strength of 5 million crushed the real body, the attack and defense of 5 million, and the attack and defense of 5 billion. Immune to everything, the emperor was cleared in one thought. The desperate black tide made a god-level comeback. The main city's heart training camp recruits Panel Phnom Penh Reflash, the strength soared by 500,000, magic attack and 5 million, and the legs were weak standing up, the sword energy and magic light soared into the sky and cheered like a tsunami, the emperor is invincible. The buff sharing has reversed. Our equipment has been upgraded to 2 levels. The debuff has turned back to the ancient god. We just kneeled down in a pool of blood and despair. Now the fighting spirit aura attack speed plus 1000% critical hit 500%, hot-blooded assists are fully activated. Mu Xue's purple eyes turned to be charming, the flame magic robe, the hot sweat fragrance bloomed like orchids, and the magic attack was 2 million. Ice and Fire, Heavenly Punishment Fantasy. The movie version has no CD and thousands of miles of AOE, and her plump breasts are pressed against Chen's arms. She gasps in a charming voice, "My husband's magic." Xue's magic attack is doubled when she is reborn in a barrier, and the whole army of shadow clones and scepters teaches the chain of backlash, and the sisters in the harem will always follow the god of slaughter. Tang Yuehua's new clothes are full of fragrant roses, gazing eagerly and seductively, and the 200,000 flying phantom cavalry of the bodyguard's phantom cavalry are clapping and the sound of hooves is ghostly rolling. Warrior's pulse is reversed. Turn. All the servants of the ancient god rebelled against him, and the loyalty buff increased by 1000%. The source of the revolution was forever reborn in the other world. Lu Ting's silver armor slapped Chen on the shoulder and the air buzzed. The power was 30,000 plus and the sword was slaying 10,000 meters into the sky. Brother Chen's iron triangle is eternal. The Sword Master's flying sky combo breaks the defense and teaches the whole army, the ancient god's claws are invincible in close combat. Chen laughed ferociously, the god-slaying domain was fully opened, the star-absorbing contract was shattered, the double pulsation sublimation, the dark god-slaying sword touched the ground, and thousands of swords returned to the clan. The galaxy finally exploded for thousands of miles. The black gold sword rain poured down and covered the ancient god's domain. The flanks of the giant body were shattered and incinerated, the heat wave scorched the sky, Tang Yu's bodyguard's 200,000 flying phantom cavalry clattered with hooves, the tsunami instigated a rebellion, the weak point pulsed, the core imploded, Lu Ting's sword master clone Wan Jianwall controlled the flying sky combo and slashed the back of the neck with sword energy and the hot wind cut. The ancient god's true form fluttered its giant claws into the sky, helplessly roaring in pain, the red light pulsed and collapsed, and the blood mist fountain formed like rain. The system's golden light firecrackers exploded continuously. Kill the ancient god's servants x 5,000 in a row. Kill the ultimate true form of the ancient god for the first time. Experience 10 trillion times 6,000 times equals 60 trillion. Upgrade to level 3000. Snowball 600,000 times. All attributes plus 50,000%. Strength 10 million plus, attack and defense 10 billion. Drop, God's Domain Eternal Core, plus, All Server God King Crown Sublimation, plus, Outer Domain Void Eternal Gate. The system gold announcement of the whole server is dazzling with fireworks. Chen, the leader of the God Ring Alliance, has achieved, God King of the whole server, Eternal God Slaughter. Snowball's 600,000 times buff is shared, the ultimate true form of the ancient god from the outer world is killed for the first time, the source of revolution is permanently destroyed, all NPC uprisings are destroyed, and the alliance breaks through the 5 million iron army to dominate the entire server. The experience of all players in the server will be plus 50%, all equipment will be upgraded to the divine level, and the eternal era of the divine domain will begin. The high platform in the heart of the main city cheered like a tsunami. The Alliance's 5 million Iron Army IDs flashed in gold with an average level of 300 plus strength 1 million, magic attack 100 million, fighting spirit aura, attack speed plus 1500%, critical hit 600%. Their sword energy, magic light, and heat waves twisted and pushed each other to celebrate. The God King is invincible. Snowball shares the eternity of the Empire. The NPCs rose up and knelt and worshipped the whole server, and the blood river of the ancient gods built a new divine realm. The audience in the live broadcast room raised their eyes and roared at the barrage Jinyu. Chen is at the peak of the myth. The 3000 level full god slaying god, the Iron Triangle harem joins forces to kill the real body. The buff is 600,000 times, the whole server is sharing the god level sublimation. It is so exciting that the soul will fly and the bones will burst into eternal hegemony. Chen's dark god-slaying wings folded in the black gold wings with warmth, the God King's crown sublimated and the golden black halo enveloped the entire server, pulsing as tenderly as spring. The god's domain god-slaying suit buzzed and hummed for eternity, and the golden firecrackers in his mind said, the god's domain is eternally unlocked. The eternal gate of the outer void opens up a higher dimensional challenge. The snowball buff is infinitely superimposed, the alliance limit is unlimited, the harem development skills are fully activated, and NPC players merge into a new era. Mu Xue Tang Yu's delicate body is hot against her arms, her purple eyes are charming and she smiles with water mist. The scent of ice and fire is intertwined with the fragrance of roses. Mu Xue's jade hand touches the crown and her pulsing voice says, "Husband, God King." Xue's magic attack 5 million phantom version is taught to the whole server. The harem sisters buff unlimited sisters unite as one rule the eternal divine realm. Tang Yuexiang leaned on his shoulder and smiled charmingly. The warriors will have 500,000 flying guards forever, and the revolutionary conspiracy will last forever. Lu Ting laughed and patted his shoulder. Brother Chen, the Iron Triangle god-slaying myth. The entire army of sword masters is waiting for you. The new recruit, Eternal Iron Fan Head, eyes wide with round eyes, threw himself on the street with weak legs and worshipped in a pool of blood, with a trembling voice like thunder. The God King has gained something incredible. The eternal core of the god's domain is fused with the snowball 600,000 times. Our strength is 1 million and we are heading straight to the god level. The equipment has been promoted to myth. The decisive battle in another world is desperate. Now the new life of the whole server is live broadcast. Passers-by players swarmed the teleportation array and the red light exploded. God King recruitment. Sharing buffs and joining the God Ring Alliance, NPC players are integrated into one and are invincible in the whole server. The whole server pulses with the golden light of the God King's crown rising into the sky. Chen glances at the eternal gate in the void, and the faint pulsing black shadows roar. A new wave of suspense. The alliance of ancient gods in a higher dimension is looming. The Iron Triangle Harem Alliance is gaining momentum, and a new era of eternal hegemony of the Empire has begun. The thunder from the sky cut through the void. The whole army is resting. The snowball training camp has been upgraded to the god level, and trivial matters are automated in the Eternal Empire. The Iron Triangle Harem will follow me to explore the Eternal Gate, slay the higher ancient gods, and create the era of the God King in all servers. The Alliance's 5 million iron troops knelt down and thundered, the God King is invincible. Eternal assists are always hot-blooded, and Snowball shares the divine domain for eternity. In the residual heat wave of the red mist, Chen's figure teleported and the leader's black wings exploded. Mu Xue and Tang Yu smiled warmly and clung to Lu Ting's silver armor and hummed. The four-person iron triangle entered the golden and black vortex of the Eternal Gate. A new black shadow roared and the tsunami was approaching faintly, and the live barrage boiled with predictions. New battle of the God King. The higher dimensional boss is scheduled to be killed for the first time, and the snowball is infinite superimposing the legend of the whole server continues, and the feeling of eternity is full. The golden light of the eternal imperial palace in the heart of the main city is shining, players and NPCs are merging with endless cheers. Chen grows from a top player to a god king of the whole server. The NPC uprising reverses the new era, the infinite superposition of the wedding ring buff sweeps everything, the empire is reborn forever, and the bloody journey is endless. At the peak of the carnival, the king's corpse dropped the ultimate secret message of the uprising, which automatically unfolded, and the red light projection of the whole server was exposed, the ultimate conspiracy of MO fans Revenge Alliance, fake death and lurk, collude with the national war and foreign server forces, and wait for an opportunity to counterattack the main city. The countdown to 1 million reinforcements is 10 minutes, and the player's inner ghost has infiltrated into the Divine Ring Alliance. The battle flag of the Tianji Kingdom looms, the black clouds roll again, and the sound of killing is faintly coming.